The Spanish language is not a Latin American language. It's a language the Spanish conquistadors forced upon Latin American people.
Right.
Sure.
There's more.
No, I'm sorry. All right, well, I'm not sure that I'm comfortable.
There's more.
The only reason we're Latin people and not Native American people is because of that distinction.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're just not sure about that one. Yeah, we might want to workshop it a touch.
Really? Why? That's his thing.
So be mad at me all you want for misspelling words in Spanish. Be mad at me all you want for mispronouncing words in Spanish.
okay, see, because I think that the reason that I'm a little hesitant is because to me, it sounds like he's saying,
What? Oh. Oh. No. No. What? Oh.
I'm sorry,
Sir, get your mind out of the gutter.
That doesn't take away from the fact that I am a Mexican-American, Native American woman.
okay.
What? Why'd you stop it? What? Why are you trying to twist a children's soda commercial into your weird, sick, sort of twisted, pervy...
I love it.
What are you talking about?
But it sounds like
There's more.
We're trying to make a good show for kids that feel left out, for kids that are different.
I love it. Really?
That's what he does.
No!
What?
Okay, I mean, if I'm the minority here, we can keep going.
We're trying to make a good show for kids who don't have a full grasp on any language, no matter where they live. And if you're going to be mad at that, I don't know. Be mad then.
Will you listen to yourself?
Look what she's wearing.
Look what she's wearing?
It's purple.
Oh, okay. No!
There's more.
Cousin Bud, Nacho, and Lita, Ted, Tabby, Antonita, Scooter, Mama, and Gordita, Nachita, Chacha, and Coquita.
That's his name? I love it!
Look, do you guys want the commercial or not?
Yes, we want the commercial. Of course we want the commercial.
We want it. Here's the paperwork.
I just have some serious reservations about this whole thing.
Do you mind?
No, not at all.
Why you all up in my face? Get up out my space. You're wearing out my...
See, I think this is too much. I think it's too much.
We got to celebrate our differences. Cause it's beautiful.
We need one of those for real.
Hey, another show in Disney Plus. Drop a trailer and please every one of us. Hey, yo, hey, you really thought that you were hip. Then the ratio made you look a little bit racist again. Oye, gringo, what you do to this girl's face? Oye, gringo, your animations are disgrace. No chingo. How do you sleep at night? Using slurs left and right. Solid racist if you're white. Causing Bud Light, White Rashita, Ranch Raccoon and Floor Baguita, Shockto Stringy Styrofoam, Codon Ball and Post Malone, Oreo Feeling, Plain Vanilla, Cornstarch Cracker, Pale Gorilla, White Meat Milk Toast Colonizer, Skinhead Nazi Sympathizer. No! Come on! Pinche gringo!
My dad could beat up your dad. Let's have a laugh,
In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing your game?
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Radical.
Gone are the days of Pops and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things. It's called Best Gen because we all are roughly from the same gen, and we happen to think that it's the best. Not because we as people are better than you, but because our entertainment was. So strap on in and prepare to wax nostalgic as we reminisce upon the days of yore, whilst complaining about the utter filth that keeps churning its way out of the Hollywood sludge pipes, like freaking Oye Primos.
Jesus Christ, the Lord. Yeah.
How is everybody doing tonight?
Yo, DJ Soul, bro. Nice. I've been great. It's been a wild ride. Yeah, it's been a wild couple of days.
It's been a long week. There have been some changes. It's been kind of crazy. We've been scrambling to adjust and to get that intro video ready. We hope you liked it. The song is going to be on just the song by itself. We're going to release on the Angry Mex's channel, and the full meme edit will release on my channel tomorrow morning. Both of them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Both of them tomorrow morning. As soon as we get those up, go ahead and comment, leave your like, leave your love, and let's bash this disgraceful show. Yeah.
So those will both be live tomorrow morning. We've got a whole bunch of new people in the chat. Shout out to our wonderful channel member Mark Clark. I saw him already. If you want to become a channel member, I made it as cheap as physically possible because paying money for access to emojis I thought was a little bit silly. So it's 99 cents and you get access to emojis, and that's it. If you want to support us other ways, I've got a Patreon. And the Angry Mexa is currently setting up his membership tiers, but he's got it's going to take a bit to set up.
That's right.
We've also got some new audience that are here for the Nerdboreal Lifeform, who he will be joining the stream later, but he had no interest in talking about Secret Wars, so he's going to jump on when we start talking about Picard Season 3. We have got so much to cover. We got to talk about Primos, we got to talk about the Angry Mexa, we got to talk about Secret Wars, and then we're going to talk about Picard Season 3, which we finally watched, and that's when Nerdboreal is going to jump on.
You say we, but not me, because I did not take time on Picard.
And we have to see if you guys actually did your homework and watched those Matt Johnson movies they're literally for free right now.
Those ones I watched. Those ones I got.
Mark Clark gives us $5 for a new tire for Angry Mexa. I think tires cost a little bit more than $5 last time I checked. But thank you so much for the contribution.
Yeah, it's saving up. It's saving up. Don't worry.
If you're okay, let's talk about it. The Angry Mexa has had a crazy week. Last time we met, last Sunday, just 1 week ago, your channel was just over 700 subscribers, right?
No, it was 697.
Okay,
I remember
697.
No, I remember this because my ex's friends started unsubbing of my channel, so I started losing subs randomly. And I was like, these guys, obviously, because I pulled the video. Actually, that's the nice. Last week
we were talking about it, that I was about to release the video at the same time of the show, so I just yeah, so I just
I
put it
was
down
late
an
sending
hour.
out. I was late sending out the stream link for the show, and when I logged on to go send it out to everybody, I checked YouTube, and the Angry Mexa has got a little video premiering right when this show starts, and I took offense to that. But I said so. I sent out the email, and then like 2 minutes later, I saw the time change. Oops, 6:30.
Yeah, I was like, oops, oopsie poopsie, yeah. Yo,
But yeah, you were at just under 700 subs, and now you're way over 7K.
Yeah, 7,200.
And with
Wow,
it only took
growth, man.
it literally only took you a day to get approved so your channel is officially monetized, is officially part of the
thank
the
the Lord,
YouTube
brother.
partnership
Thank you.
program, and you can start making money, which is awesome. It's a huge blessing, and I've got a wonderful stinger that I made just for you. I promise. I promise it's not a recycled stinger. Okay, it's not a stinger that I made from someone else. I made this one specifically for you to congratulate you.
Congratulations!
Shoot, that was the wrong one. Sorry. Here you.
Congratulations!
It's freaking embarrassing. I'm sorry. That was your.
That's a total W. Yeah, that's a W.
That's your stinger. It's just I made it just for you.
Thank you, felicidades. yes, let's go. Yeah, it's been a wild couple of literally like 6 days because on Monday my video had like 1,000 views, and I was like, oh yeah, 1,000 views. That's so cool, and it was like the highest video. You know, the YouTube shows you the statistics. And it was like the highest video, and I was like, so like all the videos had like 50 views in an hour, like 100 views in an hour, and I was like so happy because he had 200 views in an hour. And then it like in a day, I was working, and then I saw like, thank you very much, DJ Souls, you're a real one, brother. And yeah, Disney been taking L's, but we've been taking W's, man. Yeah. But yeah. The hardest thing was trying to respond to all of the comments, and I'm still trying to go to all of them. I want to be that kind of the kind of guy that goes through all the comments and read at least all of them. But yeah.
Well, we're all super happy for you.
Yeah, like I was saying on my 6-hour stream today. Yeah, all of those people in my chat right now from that 6-hour stream today, where I was just going off, like talking about fun things that we love.
I was also totally ready. I was gonna be your first super chat, and someone beat me to it. And
yeah, someone beat you to it, like $10. But you were the first significant super chat. Yeah, that was yeah, you were the first like appear actually. I've been receiving a lot of love, a lot of people sharing the love, and it's been amazing. Yeah, yesterday I released a video that was really, really personal, so if you want to check that out and you want to cry a little bit, listen to my story.
It was very emotional.
Yeah, it was I don't know what happened. Like, I was just recording, improvising. I never like planned the scripts. I'm just like rant in front of the microphone, and then I figure it out. And I was just ranting for like 2 hours, and I just got to that because I remember with saying primo. I remember that, yeah, my friend El Primo, that guy said a lot of, he loves saying primo, and yeah, we were all his primos, and yeah.
I've started a poll in the chat, which I encourage everyone to participate in. We're trying to figure out who is the most Mexican. Obviously, I mean, I didn't include you, the Angry Mexican, because you are actually a Mexican. But we've got me. We've got David's wife, who is one quarter real Mexican, and me, who is one quarter technically Mexican, and then we've got Mirna Velasco. So please feel free to...
Who is like the daughter of two Mexicans. She's supposed to be fully Mexican, but not even close. Yeah, she lost her her badge. Yeah, her honorary Mexican badge.
Yeah.
Please feel free to participate in that poll. I'm really curious to see who wins, me or David's wife.
Thank you.
I really wanted to vote for David's wife, but since she doesn't speak Spanish, I think
I know that's the problem. She doesn't speak Spanish,
sorry,
and I
Martina,
do.
I'm sorry.
Neither
I
well,
have a degree in Spanish, and I've lived in Mexico, and Martina can't say that.
Not even Mirna Velasco
Very
speaks
true.
Spanish, so give her a break.
I'll be sad if she doesn't get more votes than Mirna Velasco, though. So
This
I don't
is
want this to be
like
like
gringo, man.
a shutout.
Bro, we were talking
was the
about the
first one that
gringo
voted
verse
for my wife.
in my stream, bro. That's a reference to my stream earlier today. Yeah, the gringo verse. Yeah, you're all versions of the angry moments.
We do.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that made me dance so
We
hard.
have a Mexican
Oh my God.
cinematic universe, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
I like it.
Dude, well, I am so happy for you, Angry Mexa. Your channel's been so close to getting monetized for so long, and now it's just like incredible.
Yeah, and I lost the mojo. I feel like I lost the mojo and the speed for a while. Like I was just grossing like 4 subscribers for video, and it was so frustrating. Yeah, so frustrating that I was like putting too much hours and I was not getting the results that I wanted. And this video that came out of nowhere, that was barely edited, and that I was just recording me in front of a camera, just ranting at this girl and reacting to the trailer was actually so fun to make, and I guess that's the reason why people enjoyed it. Yeah. I was about to give up, literally. I was about to give up, and I didn't. And I appreciated the hell out of it. I'm the only black bean in this gringo bag. No, I think that my man DJ Souls also is a beautiful black bean. Yeah, let's go, brother. Oh, my pozole is almost here, so you gotta talk a little bit while I'm
Nice.
while I'm going for my pozole.
Where did the comment go? Martina asked if Tijuana counts. Can't find it anymore. Did it go away?
No, wait, yeah, no.
I don't think that was Martina.
Oh, Mark Clark asks.
That was,
Okay.
Yeah, that was Mark Clark.
You're right.
Mark Clark wants to know if Tijuana counts as Mexican. It does. Tijuana totally counts as Mexican, but it's like Mexico light. It's like saying, oh, I'm from the USA when you live in Puerto Rico. It's like, yeah, technically, it's a technicality.
Yeah. A funny story. I was actually on a proselyting mission in another state, and I was trying to talk to this guy from the hood, and the town that my brother and I, Tex-Mex, grew up in was called Tijeras, New Mexico. It's scissors. And so I was telling him I came from Tijeras, New Mexico. And he's like, "Oh man, Tijuana, Mexico, that's a bad place, man. You don't go to Tijuana." I'm like, "No, it's not Tijuana. It's Tijeras, and it's New Mexico. It's
good old
part of the United
scissors,
States."
New Mexico.
and
How do you confuse Tijuana?
Well, because the problem is because no one has ever heard of. Most people don't even think New Mexico is part of the United States. And if they have, they haven't heard of the little town called Tijeras, New Mexico. So I understand that people would get it confused for Tijuana.
It's one of those things. It's obviously an Americanized town, but it's hard for me to hear you say Tijeras. I'm like, oh, Tijeras.
Yeah, well,
Tijeras,
yeah. When I can pronounce it Tijeras.
I know. It
Tijeras.
It gets super pretentious if you're sitting there going like,
as many
I went down
people.
to Uruguay. You're like, yeah, no, come on. You're speaking English. Say Uruguay. It's fine.
I went to Mexico.
Yeah.
Why is everyone dressed so serious? Well, because we most of us here are a God-fearing sort, and went to church today and haven't changed out of our Sunday dress. I have.
Yeah.
Because I had to. We had a barbecue, so I didn't want to get my white shirt. I changed it for a light blue shirt. Jared, I'm literally going to invite you to a barbecue this weekend later, okay? But I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it in front of the kids.
And
okay?
I didn't get a response. I didn't get a response.
Ooh. Hey, I think we got Mex's we got Tech Mex's daddy in here. And
he's using my mom's account. What? I'm more than a quarter Mexican. You got to explain because I know that. I guess we have more Mexican in a different line. Please expound because I thought it was just the Bentley side that had 3 generations of Mexican nationality. But if you're telling me I actually have Mexican blood, I didn't know this. So please send another comment.
Well, we do have Native American blood.
Why so serious? Church.
Yeah, they went to church. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I want the Angry Mexa has already streamed for like 7 hours today. I was getting ready for church and I was like, oh, he's streaming, and I'm like, I really wanted to stay and watch, but also I'd stayed up all night making the video. And I needed to sleep, and then when I woke up, I needed to get ready for church, and so I couldn't watch your stream today.
No problem, bro. It was wild. Like we were singing La Bamba with everyone on chat. That's so insane. That's so funny. What's so funny? And talking about New Mexico, when I was a kid, I didn't know New Mexico was part of the United States. I thought it was part of Mexico.
Most Americans don't either. You are not amongst like bad company.
Because España, New Spain was the name of Mexico.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Perhaps Mexico, New Mexico. I don't know. And so I saw High School Musical for the first time. And I thought, well, bro, is this in Mexico? Like Albuquerque is in Mexico? Because these modern lovers look American. These don't look Mexican at all. I never seen the whitest Mexican in my life, like Troy Bolton, right? Oh, but yeah, I was pretty curious about that. Yeah. That was what I wanted to know. What do you Americans think of Primos? What do you guys think of Primos?
Great question. If I, before, okay, so remove all of, the context that we already know from watching Angry Mex's videos. When I first saw the still, my first thought was, why are all the Mexicans so ugly?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
and half of them have like a full unibrow and like missing teeth. It's like, okay, I get they're babies, but
she's baldy.
Yeah.
She's a baby that's baldy.
And then I watched the video and I just about puked, and then I just laughed. I laughed for hours watching Angry Mex's video. But I don't really count because I'm basically a Mexican, okay? So it's a better question for David or Jared or Bearded to answer.
I did not even bother because, no thanks.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw bad that, bro. The first time I saw it, I was like, I was watching it on Twitter and I didn't have the sound on, and I was, dude, what is this? This looks sus. This looks sus.
Wait, David, Dad has Mexican blood on both sides.
Whoa.
The Richardsons are Mexican too? Is it okay? I need to know: is it blood or just nationality, like the Bentleys?
It's still just nationality. They were down in the,
so it's okay. There. So it's still doesn't. Okay,
it's
fine.
still just technically.
You got me excited.
A little bit more than a quarter.
Okay, so like.
Basically, yeah.
A quarter is easier to say than
so what, like 3/8
or something? Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, you're not technically Mexican. You're basically Mexican.
Basically, I gotta change the channel name, change the theme song. He's basically Mexican, and
rebranding worse.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Question goes with the Primos. It doesn't appeal to me. That's for sure. Especially with all the comments and their like responses to that video. Like that just doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's for kids. Like she wants to make a show for kids that don't know any languages. Like what the fuck?
Do you like how she's implying that all Mexicans are stupid? Right? I'm sorry. I'm trying to make a show for kids that are different, okay?
Because
I'm trying to make a show for kids whose moms always told them that they're special, okay? And if you have a problem with that, then just be mad.
You're not special.
Yeah.
You're not
So
special.
just purely based off of her response, I would never watch that. Just because she did not handle it at all. Literally was just like, hate if you want to hate. Like, anyway.
Yeah, but even all of that aside, the whole animation style is just so ugly. Like I really hate ugly animation.
It's like all of Disney animation. It's the Steven Universe.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Exactly the same.
I don't like it. It's revolting to me, and I do not understand the appeal.
Many friends in my chat, in my stream, they were telling me it's because it's the new called Cal Arts. You know, the Los Angeles, California School of Arts, where they just reduce everything. And you know, reductivism or reductionist is the word, but something like that. So they just like try to make it as easy as possible, I guess. So it's cheap.
Jared does have a really thick, beautiful head of hair.
I know. Thank you.
My barber says that every time I get a haircut.
Jared
too.
Prime, huh?
Jared Prime.
I'm the one that stuck around.
I actually,
when Jared tried to take off and like got married or whatever, but
I actually started balding in Mexico. So like this hairline used to be like, you know, like it moved back like half an inch on both sides because the sun was so hot in Mexico. So I started wearing a cowboy hat. It's great.
Dude, no cap, DJ Souls, no cap. Technically, Mexican would make a better show for Mexicans than this girl that is literally the daughter of real, Mexicans, real Mexicans, you know.
Dude, you know what would be a great premise? We were talking about Laura in America, right? It would be super funny to do a show about like her daughter, and it like trying to deal with the fame of her mom, who's just the Mexican Jerry Springer, right? That could be a good show.
That'd be an awesome show. It doesn't even have to be the actress. I mean the daughter, the actual daughter of that girl.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm eating pozole, by the way.
It would be analogous. So we changed the names, but it would be like everyone's trying to get the scoop on the Laura show, and like the daughter's the only one who knows that it's all scripted, and everyone just believes it. It would be a great premise.
I'm gonna try to show you the pozole, but it's really hard.
Am I implying that Jerry Springer is scripted? Is that what you can say?
And this is like it's called carne de cabeza, or it's like the head of the beef. It's really good. It's really tasty. It's really tasty. It's spicy though, so I had to like to blow on it. Yeah, pozole, brother. Yeah, pozole.
Whatever happened to authenticity with representation? I think this goes really well with this comment too. There are a bunch of good shows with actual good representation, and so
like National Treasure too, right?
Like National Treasure, Cave of Secrets. Now, what was the show called? No, that was the movie.
International.
Internet. It should have been called International Treasure.
Yeah,
it was all about Mexico.
Exactly. It was,
and they didn't do any research. But you can see, like, there are good shows out there that do representation well. Yes. But when Disney tries to do representation, you can see they don't give a crap about representation. They only want to give off the illusion that they do, because they didn't spend a single second asking a real Mexican to consult on Primos or on their National Treasure TV show, where they have a recipe for tinga that uses beef, and they put it inside an empanada. Okay,
which makes no sense.
And the secret ingredient to her grandmother's recipe that was passed down generationally was taco seasoning.
I love taco seasoning.
Disney is incredibly racist, but they want you to think that they care about you when all they really care about is their agenda and making money. And someone has been saying Disney's been taking a whole bunch of L's, and I wanted to make sure you guys all saw this.
Wait. The writer is Mexican.
Of Primos?
Yeah, the writer of Primos is Mexican. No way, you're you gotta be kidding me, Baby Nave. You gotta be trolling me, brother.
I guarantee you, she's lived in the United States her entire life and has no idea what it's like in
Mexico. She calls herself Mexican. Yeah,
she probably does. Like Martina doesn't even speak Spanish. So, did you guys see this?
Wow.
We've been talking about all of the losses, all of the L's that Disney has made.
Yes.
I checked today. The Little Mermaid is at is still just under 500 million.
Jesus.
Which is the minimum it would need on average to break even. If you don't know the statistics, on average, a movie needs somewhere between 2 to 3 times its production budget to break even. If it wants to make money, it needs more than that. It depends on how much they spent on advertising or how much, the theaters in different places in the world take different cuts. So here in the United States, I think the theaters get a little bit less, but then in China, the theaters take like 80% to 90, I think. So, and China is a huge part of the market. So it evens out to about 50%. But it's sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depending on where your movie is more popular. So
do you guys believe that a Mexican has not watched Coco? I haven't watched Coco, bro. I need to watch it. I'm going to it.
That one is fantastic.
Yeah.
The reason why I didn't
Coco
saw
is really good
is because I saw a lot of these racist stereotypes of Disney, and I was like, okay, I think Coco is going to be like. I saw the sombrero, and I'm like, nope, I'm out.
And one thing that I will say to contrast that is that it wasn't really Disney; it was Pixar that got it right.
Exactly.
That was back when Disney didn't care about Pixar and let them do whatever they wanted.
And that's the reason why it's so good.
Before they stopped caring about Coco as much as they did during the pandemic, and then and
there's also another Oaxaca. So
there's also another good Mexican film, animated film that came out just before Coco.
Gotta keep my heritage.
There you go.
Well, what is it? There's Wakanda forever, baby.
There you go. Pay your tribute. Teo got it in the comments. It's The Book of Life. That one was also really good.
Yeah, that is a really good movie.
I don't think
instead of Wakanda, Tijuana forever.
Yeah.
Tijuana forever. Well, but it's got what's the sign?
It's gotta be something different.
Tijuana forever.
We got a new signal, right? What's the MS-13 gang sign?
Oh yeah, like we want to be flashing that around.
Let's not go there.
Tijuana forever.
That's the one, by the way.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I know it because that was bro. When you remember Metroflog? You guys remember Metroflog?
No.
Or MyScape?
MySpace.
Bro, the Maras in there, the MS, they had MySpace pages, and they would do like these kind of symbols, and it was so hilarious. Like we were all freaked out, but it was so funny that they were like posting in social media. Yeah.
No dear.
Yeah. So, Disney's been losing a whole bunch of money. The Little Mermaid has just barely reached the point where they could claim that it broke even, but that's not even taking into consideration the fact that they stole the entire advertising budget from Elementals to promote The Little Mermaid. And so it still has not made money. It's close to making $0. It's close to nothing lost.
Yo, DJ Souls, no worry, bro. I know the Book of Life. I love the Book of Life.
I was going to say, if you look at The Rock when he was trying to claim that Black Adam somehow broke even or made money. I mean, some creative accounting, and they could say they made money, but
not with how many reshoots that movie had.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I was just about to say with the Rock in particular. Yeah, that there's no way that way.
Yeah,
but I mean,
that's by Steven Universe. That's by no, it's Steven Universidad because he's evil Mexican Steven Universe. Yeah, Steven Universe.
But yeah, Disney's currently like being audited by their board members for being lied to, for manipulating their stocks, for pulling money from Disney Plus to cover losses and stuff like that. Like, they are in very bad shape, and it doesn't look like doesn't look like they've learned their lesson. Like they're announcing they're doubling down on the Rey Star Wars movie, saying they're going to spend it training Rey to Rey training a new female apprentice that will emerge as the future leader. And I can definitely, no one's going to watch this crap.
Bro, Babine, I agree with you, brother.
Yeah,
I agree with you, brother. She doesn't act for dick. Yeah, she doesn't know how to act at all. Yeah, she only knows how to sing, and she doesn't even sing that well, in my opinion.
The Little Mermaid. Her vocals are 100% auto-tuned.
Yeah. So
for
it's so
all
crazy
of the songs
that they all depend on auto-tune, bro. Like I was literally singing La Bamba for like 2 hours in my stream, and I never use auto-tune, never go auto-tune. And it's like, dude, how crazy that musicians nowadays don't go. Like, remember when musicians used to sing like in front of castles and doing Gregorian chanting and and they never, if they went out of tune, they would cut they would cut their little
and there's a big difference between using auto-tune to like just clean up your vocals and then using it to create your vocals. With the Little Mermaid, like I'm a musician, I can tell she's half the time she's not even hitting the real notes.
And
like,
you probably
you can hear it clipping in and out between, like it's not good.
Did you notice
on my studio album I'm using auto-tune, but it's to like just get the notes like centered, like right, none of when I sing in in key on pitch, and when I go through an auto-tune, it's just to like center the note, right in the middle, just to make, just because it's a studio album, I want it to be
but you
perfect.
know how to do it, and it sounds great, and it adds to the sound of your voice because it combines the whole, the range of the instruments to your voice, which is what autotune is supposed to do. But this girl is like literally not only that, but for her vibratos, she has zero.
The vibrato is artificial.
Artificial. I was like,
it's
dude,
horrible.
It's so in the wish I could be out of that world. And they literally
that is artificial vibrato.
Yeah, they literally do, and it sounds like,
yeah.
They're just choking.
Sounded fine to me. I had no problems with it. I'm not a musician though, so I can't say.
That's the thing. It will fool the average person. But,
yeah, exactly.
But people that saying, "Oh, she's a great singer," no, she's not
a great singer. Yeah, no,
she
not at all.
wasn't a great swimmer. She wasn't a great singer, and she can't even swim. I don't know why she was cast as the Little Mermaid. Okay,
because of her color.
That's a good comment, though. That's a good comment. We don't talk
about
Primos.
No.
I have never seen Encanto. I've seen clips, but
don't watch it. Don't watch it.
It's got some good concepts that completely fail to deliver.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the songs.
The music is good, but this whole story just falls flat. It was really disappointing.
Yeah,
there's nothing bad about it though. So,
and with the representation, they don't even go like, they don't even say anything about the Colombians. They are just there. Like, they are just there. They don't do that anything. They barely come. They barely eat arepas, or they barely have like salsa parties or Medellin. They don't show anything about Colombian culture. I don't like Encanto. My girlfriend literally tortured me, opened my eyes. The how do you call it? The orange Naranja Mecánica,
Clockwork
Orange style. That I was like
reconditioning.
But I saw it in Spanish, which is way worse because in English they know how to sing. In Spanish they don't, and they all use attitude. And you listen to the lyrics, and they are so bad in Spanish. My God! But in English, it's so good. The music is so good because they all have the accent, and you can hear the Colombian accent. In Spanish, it's all Mexican. Like the dub was made from Mexicans. Like it sounds like "Hola, cómo estás?" Like neutral, Spanish, and I'm like, my God.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I was super disappointed with Encanto. It had such promise.
Well, I mean, Disney just they don't care. They don't care about the people that they claim to represent. They don't care about their own IPs. Like you can see, and we've complained about Star Wars too. This is another one. They don't even adhere to their own canon. They're bringing back dead characters that were literally killed in episode 3. For
they're bringing back Shakti because Shakti has been killed 3 different ways in canon.
Some of that was in deleted scenes. And
I have an answer there for Babinade. There, in vitro insemination. in vitro.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, but that is a player. Yeah, Joaquin Bardem is a player because
Javier
Bardem. That is the same.
Dude, you know who he's married to, right?
Who is he married to?
Penelope frickin' Cruz.
No way. No way.
Yeah.
No way. Oh, Big Mouth. Yeah,
mad respect for Javier Bardem.
Yo, guys, I wanted to ask you this about Big Mouth because you guys have kids. Well, I mean, 2 of you guys have kids, and I was wondering, what the hell is going on with Big Mouth? Do you ever watch Big Mouth?
Big Mouth?
Again,
no.
it's that terrible animation. I cannot stand that ugly animation. I refuse to watch it or let my kids watch it.
I watched the first episode and that's all I needed to know. It's not a kids movie. It's not a kids TV show. It was made for adults, which is weird because it's about kids and it's very sexual.
It's disgusting. Yeah,
it's not kids going through puberty and they do horrible things. And that's Nick Kroll, the guy who ruined History of the World Part 2.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I used to like a little bit of Nick Kroll, but then he just got too much. He's like someone started telling him that he's
one of those guys that's funny like as a cast member. He's not funny when he's in charge or the main character.
I agree. Yeah. Why don't they reset the whole? Yeah, they reset the whole Star Wars universe. Yeah, it's insane that they.
Why? Honestly, it was just that much easier for them to do their own thing.
That would be the smart thing if they wanted to try and regain good grace. Just stop making sequels and do the Old Republic. Like I don't want Disney to touch the Old Republic, but like if they wanted to actually turn around and do a good job, ignore all of the stuff that they've established and start doing do the Old Republic and make Dark Forces canon. Kyle Katarn, oh gosh, his story's so good.
Yeah,
dude, it's insane that Disney doesn't want to make money anymore. Do they just want to destroy the legacy of the white supre?
I don't know. I thought
I believe that they want to make money. They just don't know how to do it.
They
could be more creative than George Lucas.
But it's a good point. They were trying to be represented, have representation and show, there's a mermaid for each of the 7 seas, not realizing that it completely destroys the character of King Triton, whose one characteristic was he's a good dad.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but he's faithful to his daughters, and all the daughters look kind of similar in the in the
diversity ruins everything it touches. They didn't even think about the consequences, right?
Or their mermaids could be something more supernatural than that. But
oh, come on. You don't need to play devil's advocate all the time.
Or do I?
But what you were saying? Do they actually want to make money? Of course they want to make money, but that's not their primary objective.
I think that they think that what they're doing will make them money.
Yes, they think it will make them money, and they're slowly realizing, oh, we can't keep doing this and also make money. But you can tell that making money isn't their first goal. It's their second.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. But it's the thing that it's like a perpetual sequel of never ending.
That one.
Yeah, it was so good.
The whitewashed Little Mermaid. Yeah, it was pretty great.
That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, the AI generated Little Mermaid was so good. More accurate to the actual one. But in my opinion, is like, okay, they go in this circle that, okay, they say, how we make money? Pander to the left. But then they pander to the left and they don't make money. So they go back to how we make money. And they say, oh, we pander to the left, to another part of the left. And they pander to another part of the left and they don't make money. So they go back to the third one. And they are like, what are we doing wrong? Well, guess what are you doing wrong? Pandering to the wrong people. Yeah, go pander to the people that actually
honestly,
are working and having kids.
If they were to pander to the right, they'd also probably not make money for the other side of the same reason. They need to stop trying to pander to somebody. They just need to make entertaining movies, you know?
Exactly.
No, pander to the right, yo. Look at Marvel and Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick, baby.
Mm-hmm. That movie was made for people on the right and conservatives for that part. So, all leftists that I've heard hate it. They say, "That's the dumbest movie ever made. It's so dumb." All of them hate it because they defeated them. They made a movie with a specific time of people that there is not them, with no representation. We just focus on showing something badass, like literally showing something badass. And they succeeded. And they succeeded so good. And that's the reason why probably what is it called? The new one? The new movie?
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible 8 or 7 or whatever. 2000. It's going to make way more money than any other movie in this year. And
all of the analysts agree that the Mission Impossible movie is the only movie this year that like has a chance of breaking $1 billion.
No, that make
besides, this month over because Mario.
Oh, except but Dune's not going to make $1 billion. Dune Part 1 was I love, and I will go see Dune Part 2 probably 4 times in theaters.
It's still a very niche market.
One thing I will say though that worked against Dune Part 1 is they also released it on HBO Max at the same time.
Yeah.
So that made it harder.
I forgot about that.
That hurt. Yeah, that hurt.
But
no, and Dune is
I don't know how much did it make?
400 million.
Dune?
Yeah, I don't know if Dune 2 would probably make $1 billion. It'd have to be like to get really good word of mouth and take off.
Did Dune? No way. Dune just made 400, mate.
So the production budget was 165 million, and it made just under 400 million. So it broke even.
Money, yeah.
Broke even. Probably made a little bit of money, and that doesn't count, any of the HBO Max sales
subscribers. Right. Yeah,
because I subscribed just to watch Dune again.
I made sure that was the first thing I clicked on when I signed up on HBO.
Yeah, that was there exactly. That was there when I signed up. Me as well, because at the same time, I knew that there was coming. I was going to watch.
Oh, it was a bad time to take a drink. Oh, money is a form of capitalism. And that's why they hate money.
There you go. You figured it out.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark Clark, you need to repent, and I've already told you this so many times. Go watch Top Gun Maverick. It's so good.
It is.
I mean, knowing Mark Clark probably not gonna like it like as much as we do, but just try to picture how crazy it is that they are not using CGI like almost at all. They only use CGI for the explosion one time, and it's insane, that part.
think they removed some,
there's like
some other
background
things from
there's
some of
like
the shots
there's
and all
like
that,
scene replacement, but yeah, they don't use CGI to do like the stunts. It's really it's all they put the actors in the planes too and made them do it. Like
it's insane.
Miles Teller
like,
talked about how many times he threw up filming it because
I would be
he was so
puking,
excited
like,
to work with
left
Tom
and
Cruise.
right. I would
And
get addicted to anti-puke medication.
Dude, I really like Miles Teller. I think he's gonna go on to do some really good stuff. But
he should be. It's just that people don't believe in him. I think that people don't believe in him. Whiplash showed us like Whiplash, and
Whiplash,
but
he was really good in like War Dogs too.
Yeah, War Dogs was so good because of him and Jonah Hill.
But the dual release of Dune, yeah, like it came out simultaneously in theaters. I went to go see it opening weekend, and my wife watched it before I did on HBO.
On HBO, yeah.
Yeah.
So it would have made more money if not for that. I don't know if it would. I don't think it would have crossed 1 billion.
But
I don't think
because
so,
it was done so well, maybe.
Yeah.
Doom Part 2. I don't have confidence in it crossing a billion.
My guess would be that at the best, Dune 1 might have made double what it did. And that's really being generous, that if it had just been in theaters and there'd been no pandemic, it might have made double that. And so I don't think that it's likely that the sequel will make more unless
it is a part 2. You know, it's not a full story,
2.
and you saw what that did to Endgame, but obviously there's more hype for Endgame. But
yeah, so it kind of depends on, again, if they can get the right kind of push with Dune 1 and then get the right kind of response from Dune 2, that might push it up to go. But I'm expecting it to probably come in around that 800.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
They went very heavy with CGI on the Flash movie. Let's talk about the Flash for a second.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
I have not seen it. Why
me
would
neither.
The Flash sees a massive, massive box office drop in the second week, and I'll show you the numbers in a little bit. But I wanted to show you this one first because it's a little bit telling. Fandango has officially issued a buy one get one free offer for the Flash.
Oh no! What a disgusting combination!
They need people to go see this movie, and no hard feelings. Beat out the Flash, followed by Elemental and Spider-Man.
Oh, Luke Murderer, nice to see you here, brother. Nice to hear you there. But to be fair to the Flash, Jennifer Lawrence does have a nudity scene, so that's probably why people are going to watch.
Yeah, I'm told it's the first nude scene a woman has ever done.
Good callback.
that was a good callback. Yeah,
it's the first nude scene for any woman ever. So the numbers they're really bad. So remember, $200 million production budget, and I believe that this number is fake. Okay,
it's fake. It's
with
fake.
all of the
they
don't have to report all of the reshoots, and the marketing has been almost as prolific as the Little Mermaid's marketing, right?
Exactly.
Like,
imagine
they needed people to see this movie. Martina's gaining on me, and no. Okay, I've still got a good lead. I'm not worried about.
You gotta start like speaking like Mexican. You know, you gotta start.
Oh yeah.
Tamales.
Arriba, Andre, hija. Árale, pues. Okay. Dude, you know what I miss? I haven't had a good bowl of carne and sujugo in a real long time.
Oh, that's a dirty one. Yeah, that's a dirty one.
Obviously, I'm hankering for some tortas ahogadas too, but less
cool.
so because like I'm getting old now, and like I can take it, but my bowels suffer a little bit if I eat too much chili.
Yeah.
So look at the numbers.
Life going to be harder.
Huge, like it's barely made. This is a fake number. There's no way that's all they spent, right?
There's no way.
It's probably closer to 400 if you include, maybe even.
Let me put this in context.
Maybe even half.
Yeah.
Maybe even 500 if you include all of the advertising and because this movie was filmed like 5 years ago, and it went through like 6 different reshoots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are massively struggling to counteract the Ezra Miller effect.
Yeah, and it's insane because I truly believe that after the Rings of Power, every production company is scared as hell to release their action numbers. Because remember, previously it was like like something to be proud of. If your movie was cheaper than the most expensive movie and eating money, and you will report at least as much as you could.
Yeah.
And for example, put this in context, dude. Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 2, the finale of Twilight, has 150,000, so 150 million bucks the budget. Do you think The Flash really has like 50? Well, I mean, there's inflation and things.
Yeah.
But do you think that The Flash is not at least $100 million is more expensive than them Twilight? Like, what are they doing?
For sure.
So it's barely made back its reported production budget, which means it's still at a loss. So this is what's interesting. Okay, this shaded area is automatically created after the opening weekend, and 95% of films fall within the shaded area. It's the average. That represents the legs, which are calculated after the opening weekend. Okay, how much it's going to project. So if it's trending towards the top of the line, it means it's performing better than predicted. If it's in the middle, it's exactly as predicted, and towards the bottom, it means it's performing worse than it was even predicted. And it's underneath the projections. It already had a horrible opening weekend, and it's performing even worse.
They are off like by 100 million, literally.
This is insane. This is literally falls into the top 5 worst performing films of all time.
Yes, according to statistics, yes. According to what was expected, yes. And thank you, Vibinave. I'm glad that I could teach you some Spanish, although most of the time I was just saying bad words.
The week-to-week drop, Friday to Friday,
dude,
80%.
Oh,
what?
Gosh,
how is this a
That's
drop
awful.
bigger than the one of Rings of Power, which was 70%?
So if you're wondering what that means, the opening night is Friday. Okay, it made 25 million, and so you think the next week it should have, because it slows down during the week. So you have to compare the same weekday if you want like an accurate assessment. The next Friday, a week later, which I almost always see movies the next week. I rarely go opening night.
Yeah, most people do that. Yeah,
80% drop. That's way worse than any other film we've looked at.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's not the top 10. It's the top 5. It's the top 5.
I mean, this weekend's not.
Yeah, Lord Mutter, and bro,
it's not going to come in very well at all.
Your movie will be better than Flash, Lord Mutter. Like, give yourself some credit, brother. Like, you are pretty smart fella. You at least know like 5 different words in Spanish, and most of them are bad words and tamales. But you still are smarter than me.
Yeah. So, crazy numbers. Yeah, comic books they're failing. Did you guys see this? No one is showing up to San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh,
that's actually good. Do you know why that's actually good?
Screw San Diego Comic-Con. Screw California.
I was gonna say, is DC showing up? I bet you they're the only ones that are showing up.
DC is.
Yes, because they have to. Like, they have no other choice. Literally, they're literally started rebooting. They just rebooted the whole freaking thingy. Like, they had to promote something.
Even Netflix turned them down.
It's imagine that.
Wow.
And I was wondering, maybe this is good news for the Reaperverse or something like that. Maybe
it's great news.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
I haven't checked. I haven't checked on their numbers. I'm gonna pull up their campaign.
Yeah, I was wondering. But yeah. I agree with you, Bobby Nape. The cyberpunk of movies, exactly. Yeah, Flash is basically the cyberpunk of movies because of how bad it was at release, and you know
you can't patch a movie though. I mean, you can on Disney Plus. They patch all of their stuff.
Yeah, that's right. But
true.
they do it even worse somehow. Like, in my opinion, it was better in the theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never going to see the Flash in my life. Like, I have zero.
So Riververse campaign 2 sitting at 1.5 million, which
holy
is
moly guacamole.
It's about half of the first campaign. So I think it's still they still have a whole bunch of time. I think it'll make a little bit less than ISM number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah.
But still, that's really good. Like, no one expected ISM number 1 to make $3 million.
It doesn't matter because if they made it 3 million, they're already planning on doing the animation.
3.7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's good anyways because if it makes 3 mil, they're going to make an animated stuff, and that animated stuff is going to make way more money than the comics ever did because people are way more visual than readers.
But speaking of seeing movies, opening weekend. I know that last week I said I didn't even want to watch Indiana Jones, and that is still true. But I got free tickets.
Ooh.
What is that airing?
I got 4 free tickets.
Ooh.
So I'm going with my wife and 2 other lucky individuals. Depends on who sucks up the most tonight.
Hey, I take back that earlier comment about you not reaching out about the barbecue. Back, man. Don't you worry about it.
That was the plan. I was thinking we could have a barbecue on Saturday and watch the movie at 11 and then come to my house.
Well, then how am I doing second up? Do I need it? I mean, what else?
Well, I mean, David, what do you have to offer?
I have the Spider-Man's Kraven's Last Hunt that you could borrow.
Oh, that's true. I could borrow your comic books. Oh, guys, speaking of my comic books, I got the rest of my Superman set back there, and Elliot has already read the first issue.
Nice.
He read through The Death of Superman and loved it.
Oh, wow.
That kid's a stud.
Wow.
Yeah, he came over to my house yesterday, and I was reading one of my comic books, the Return of the Dark Knight, or Dark Knight Returns, and he's like, "Are you reading The Death of Superman?" I'm like, no, it's a different one, but
close enough.
Yeah, he was pretty excited.
Anyway, so our realtor rented out the entire theater. I still have no desire to watch this movie, but also I can't pass up the chance to be able to make fun of it for free.
When is it releasing? I need to see
It's this weekend.
Is it this
It's
weekend?
the 30th.
Wow.
So I will be seeing it on the 1st.
I'll actually be in Utah this weekend, but I'll be down.
Okay. All right. What do you guys have to offer for my free tickets?
I was going to say,
we got
Mark
a competition.
Bearded is in California. That's not going to happen.
I am offering Mark Clark as my nominee.
Right? Yeah.
Thanks for the $2. You want me to give the tickets to Bearded?
I'll actually be down south, so I probably still won't be able to make it up.
I love Deadpool. I love the Deadpool comics. They're so good. And Deadpool kills everyone is the best. Is the best damn comic in the world.
Deadpool kills the Marvel universe or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's so good, so funny. And it's like when he's fighting Wolverine, and Wolverine is like, "I got you, boy." And he's beaten in tiny pieces, and he just started recovering. That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
So next week I will be able to talk about Indiana Jones.
Me too. I will talk about Indiana Jones because I like Indiana Jones was literally the first DVDs that I had as a kid. Literally, nice. the three movie set because it was like an offer, and it was like 200 pesos for the three of them. I literally saw that and it blew my mind. The Temple of Doom blew my goddamn mind. And to this day, I never pass through over that movie. I've never been able to like say there's nothing like that. Well, the Last Crusade is probably better, but like seeing that as a kid, like the extras and the effects and everything, it was so insane.
Yep.
And now we got this. Now we got this.
David would probably be late to the theater. Yeah.
Mark, you have so little faith in me.
Indiana Jones, that actress from that show Fleabag, is so untalented, and
there's not a single project that I like her in.
Yeah, I haven't seen her.
She's so damn ugly as well. Like she's so unappealing to the. How does she have a job? She's unfunny. She's untalented. She doesn't know how to read. She doesn't know how to produce or direct. She is not easy to the eyes. She has a mole of the size of my. Yo, what up? But yeah, why does she have a job there? And Caitlin Kennedy's saying, "F it, I'm going to leave that girl Phoebe, whatever." The whole thing. Yeah.
Yep.
We got Nerdporial on the
I was
stream.
going to say, I love how we made sure that we took care of all the other things that Nordporial doesn't want to talk about before he got here.
Yeah, we're definitely on
that's
time.
our stream. We're always punctual and never go on any tangents ever.
I have seen some spoiler reviews for Indiana Jones, and it seems like all of the leaks are correct. So
I thought there were only 3 Indiana Jones films.
Yes,
that's the correct response.
This is Disney's Indiana Jones What If. I believe this episode is What If Indiana Jones Was Gay. So
she looks bad. She looks
not
bad.
that there's anything wrong with that.
No, not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, but bro, mark my words. Mark my words. You're going to start expecting the hell out of the Crystal Skull after this movie. I swear to God, I'm pretty sure about it.
It's gonna become,
like the
people are
prequels with the
nostalgic.
Exactly,
the Disney
bro.
stuff. They're not to me. They're not sequels.
You know,
they're just
Crystal
they're
Skull wasn't as bad as I
non-sequels.
remember.
Yeah, they're fan fictions. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, at this point, there's a reason why I don't follow anything Disney. I haven't watched any Marvel, haven't watched any Star Wars, haven't watched any anything else, and I'm not interested in these live action remakes. Is that what they are?
Yeah,
like Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
There's nothing to spoil for Diaper of Destiny. Lucasfilm already spoiled.
I heard the spoilers. I am dumbfounded by how they have the gall to do that. But then again, I think just leave the brands alone at this point. Leave Star Wars alone.
But spoil it. I want to hear because I haven't heard it. I want to hear it.
I don't want to hear those. So if you're going to spoil it, I'll step out. I'm the one here, so I'm the one that
just
might
go
actually
watch
end up
Film
liking it
Threat.
anyway.
Go watch Film Threat. He's got to spoil the review. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
It's not looking great. Yeah. So the Nerdporial is here to talk about Picard season 3 with us. But first, really quickly, we gotta talk about the Secret Wars. Because we had to do that first. So Marvel's Secret Wars, it was dumb, and I hated it. So Picard season 3.
I just want the only thing I want to say about, and I don't want to spoil it. So, Birdo, did you see Secret Invasion?
Oh, Secret Invasion! I watched Secret Invasion. I watched everything that we were supposed to watch this time, except for Picard season 3, because I would want to watch all of it, and there's a lot to catch up on.
But you know the spoiler at the end, right? Of Secret Invasion, right?
Secret Invasion. Yeah.
Yeah, you watched it.
Yeah, that was one of the dumbest things that I've seen, and I literally was screaming at the screen, saying, "Who is going to keep watching your show if you just killed the most?" Well, I mean, you could argue that Nick Fury is like the most.
Oh, they did it. They
popular.
did that.
They did.
They killed Maria Hill. They killed Colby Smulders.
They killed Colby Smulders.
But who knows? She might have been a change. She might have been a Kroll.
But they're gonna make. They're gonna make the bait and switch.
She didn't change when she died. Yeah.
Okay. It's just
She didn't change
or
when she died, but
what? No one's ever dead. I don't know. I don't care.
Did
It's
they,
dumb.
they use that gravestone from what was that second Captain America movie called again? Winter Soldier. Did they use that same gravestone where they used the Bible verse from Pulp Fiction?
No.
No.
It's dumb. It's the
There
most
was no funeral yet, but
the exposition
think so.
is literally the most lazy thing I have ever seen. It's the epitome of tell, don't show.
exactly.
Which is the
whole
opposite.
yes,
of what to do.
exactly. There are literally scenes that like just end, like abruptly end, and then there's like a pickup scene to like explain what happened right afterwards, and you could tell that was like a reshoot. But like in the editing room, they're like, "This does not make sense how we cut this together," and so they cut this other piece that's completely separate, just like one line in a separate location to explain and go from where they went. It's absolutely appalling.
Yeah, and I can
some of
summarize
the
the
chase
show
sequences don't make any sense.
I can summarize the show in
end
three
part.
things.
It thinks it's really smart too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You can tell like they think they did a good job.
Oh, we're so smart.
They're literally calling themselves this is the Andor of the MCU.
No, honestly, though, to all things considered, and this is really not saying much of anything at all, but
don't say it, Jared.
Miles better than She-Hulk.
Yeah.
That's not saying
for sure.
And it will probably be a financial failure, just like Andor.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that sure. And let me tell you why. And let me summarize the whole show in three things. First of all, talking. 90% of this show is like spewing, like literally old people sitting down, talking about the things that they're either going to do, or that the things that they're spying on, or the things that happened already,
or feelings,
or telling
Nick Fury that he's
telling Nick Fury that he's watched up and he hasn't been the same since the blip 7 different times.
7 by 3 different characters. One of them doesn't even know them.
How about talk about the plot, or how about talk about the story and and develop the characters through the story?
They can't. The problem is it's the whole show, and I said this from the get-go, the entire show is going to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier Part 2.
Yeah,
it's they cannot make the Krulls the bad guys. The entire thing is trying to make terrorists sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
It's once again a love letter to Antifa.
I would argue that at the very least it is showing
they're displaced.
The arguments. That's all that it is. And they're still the villains. They're still making all the wrong choices, doing all the bad things. But there's nuance to.
They're just misunderstood.
Not just misunderstood. They're misunderstood, and then they're doing bad things because they've been misunderstood.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. I don't think it's apologizing for them at all. That's the problem. And this is the same way that I feel about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, yeah, they soften it a little bit. They make you understand maybe where they're coming from. But the reality is they don't apologize for the fact that these people were doing terrible things. They
have her
things. They are
descend
terrorists.
from the heavens. Like Jesus.
Wasn't there something like that in
after sacrificing her life for the displaced. Sorry, what was your question?
Wasn't there something like that? I haven't watched any of the Marvel shows, but wasn't there something just like that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
That's what we're talking about is the comparison between the two of them. Yeah,
where there's terrorism and they're justifying it because of.
But that was the whole show. I don't think they're justifying it. They're explaining.
Me neither. I haven't seen that, but
they're still saying that's still terrorism. They're still killing people. That's why before you had Falcon doing his whole speech to the do better whatever thing, right? But he also tells her, like, dude, this is not the right way to go about this. You're doing this wrong. Yeah. You may have a reason to be angry, but you're doing it wrong. He still says that, like, everybody's ignored that part. And in the same way, you have in Secret Invasion, you have the Skrulls and other people saying, no, you're no, like, I get why you're mad that we don't have this, but that's not the right thing to do. We shouldn't be blowing people up. That's wrong.
I miss Netflix. You know what's funny? I miss Netflix Marvel. I miss Daredevil. Remember Daredevil?
Yeah.
Remember Daredevil? Yes. You know, I know a lot of people didn't say this. I love season 3 as well. I love season 1. Love season 2. Watch season 3 in a single day, single sitting. That's how good.
Yeah.
All
I-
Marvel have been great.
I think my only
Jessica
complaint-
Jones season 1 was awesome.
Daredevil, I didn't love how they presented the relationship between him and Elektra.
Mm-hmm.
Like but I mean, it's kind of like it was a bad relationship, and
It's kind of
so
was like that.
I just hated that he kept simping
Yeah.
for her in season 3, and I'm like, I mean, you've got this wonderful other girl.
Well, but
Yeah.
but that's why they did that. Obviously,
I know.
for the drama. But,
Yeah, but I mean, who would choose?
Yeah, that was good
Who would
stuff.
choose that Elektra over what's her face?
Deborah Wool.
Yeah, Deborah Ann Wool.
Yeah, Karen.
No one on earth would make that choice.
Hell yeah, brother.
That
You
Salty
know
Tavern
it.
gives us $2. I can't wait for Rafe Judkins to take over the MCU. Yeah, baby, he's already taken over God of War.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's
Oh,
the
dear.
showrunner for the new God of War show.
They're making a God of War show.
Apparently,
Yes!
HBO.
Because nothing
Yeah.
screams masculinity like Rafe Judkins.
I mean,
Mhm.
who's going to be the main character? It's not going to be Kratos.
It's the little boy, but he's going to be a girl of color, black girl.
Well, I assume you
Yeah.
saw the Wheel of Time casting, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Natasha O'Keefe will play Lanfear in the Wheel of Time. Lanfear is canonically the most beautiful woman in existence.
That's correct.
And they cast a man.
I'm actually on the 4th book right now. I just read the 3rd book for the first time, the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a series of Wheel of Time, streams talking about my reads and all that with the White Cloaks, with Prophet of the Dragon, Salty, a whole bunch of people. So I don't know if you guys are you guys all well versed in the books or the lore?
I am.
Just to let you know, I'm not. Yeah. I'm trying to avoid spoilers from later parts of the book.
David is on his first read, and Jared and I have read them all.
Nice.
Read the first
Spoiler,
3
bro,
books
I don't know
in
how to read.
preparation.
Spoiler, I don't know how to read. But yeah,
Mexa taught himself English by watching movies with the subtitles on and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I did.
that's
But
dedication.
the problem is I learned learned English by watching Marvel Mayans movies, the Wayans brothers movies. So my English was so bad, and I just
Have you ever
sweat
seen
all the
movie-
time.
Have you ever seen the movie Stripes with Bill
I
Murray
have
and Harold
not,
Ramis?
and it's on my list of things I need to watch.
So
Me too.
Harold Ramis is a teacher. He's teaching, people. He's teaching foreigners or immigrants English. And he asks like, what English do you know? And everyone's like, asshole, fucker, pissant. Like all the bad words. All the businesses in New York City.
No,
all
that's
the dirty words.
that's exactly what happens. You go to Mexico and they just shout the F word at you. It's hilarious.
So
I
my
do- maybe
bad.
this-
I realized.
yeah,
I realized,
yeah.
The swearing part. I
Yeah.
kind of broke that. My bad.
No, it's good. It's good.
It's okay. In game.
We allow a little bit of swearing.
A little bit.
Yeah, look, I've never seen a face that was more square than this woman.
Like she literally look at
No,
the
my
cheeks.
mother-in-law's face is pretty darn square like that, though, too.
But okay, look, I don't think she's ugly, but she's definitely not the most beautiful woman in existence. And
supermodel.
she's like 30 years older than Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah,
Not only that, but
she's
she has done so much plastic surgery on her face. Like this thing that she's
The nose,
disgusting, like,
yeah,
and
the nose is like
and-
paper
and-
thin.
and the Botox and come on, girl, like you probably were looking way better, and you will age way more gracefully if you didn't, hit the what is it called, the plastic surgery. Yeah.
You know what? It's probably not plastic surgery. It's all that contouring. That's what's in nowadays.
No, but the chiseling of this thingy, how's it called? Of the jaw. That's definitely
I don't know.
filled.
My mother-in-law has a pretty crazy jaw like that too. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law, sister-in-law.
I
They
don't
got
know,
some
man.
wild
I've seen people get
chin
the
shape like
chisel
that.
to
It's
chisel
pretty
their
crazy.
chin, and it kind of looks like that because they will, make it thicker here and make it sharper here.
I would be really
think-
surprised though because again, I'm not going to necessarily bag on it, but at the same time, like I would be really surprised that they chose that she wanted to have that in there. I don't know. That doesn't seem.
It's Barbilla Roja. Red Chin. Have you ever watched Padrinos Mágicos, God's Fairy Odd Parents? Fairy Odd Parents?
Oh, Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, Red Chin. You know the Red Chin. What was it called? In Mexico, it was called Barbilla Roja. Red Chin. What was it called? What was it called in the United States? The big chin.
I
you
never
gotta
watched.
show it. You gotta show the picture of it.
Yeah.
She can crush diamonds with her jaw. Yeah.
Crimson Chin.
Crimson Chin.
Oh yeah.
I never watched the show religiously, so
I've seen a little bit of it. I know I've seen that character, but I didn't remember. But
that's right.
Yeah, no, I don't think she's ugly, but it's a bad casting.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I think
like the Chavisa says wood, wood. Like the young people say wood.
Getting back to Secret Wars before we move on to Picard, I thought the most ridiculous thing was how it opened with the super secret conspiracy guys like, I figured out that Skrulls are here and they're invading Earth and we don't even know how many there are, so we got to assassinate this guy that figured this thing out, and then he walks out the door and immediately everybody else already knows about it. It's like,
yes.
What kind of stupid plot point is that?
It was dumb.
And then at the very end, they're trying to do this cool thing where the Skrull walks behind something and morphs into somebody else, but they're doing it in the middle.
That was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, in the middle of the public arena. It only works for the camera. Like
he shapeshifts like 6 times in front of him.
Yeah.
But then every time he shapeshifts, he looks back at him, so you know it's the same guy.
Yeah. I know.
It only makes sense for the camera and for him, nobody else, and it would be
exactly. Everybody else in there is like, what the heck? This dude just shapeshifted into this little girl or whatever. Like, come on, how stupid can you be?
Yeah.
It's just,
it's just, we talk about
if you think about it, it's like
the show is going to be the show is going to be Skrullception. You're going to have Skrulls that are pretending to be other Skrulls. Okay,
that's what I was thinking.
Exactly,
and then they're gonna rip off the face,
and it'll be a human the whole time. One of the Skrulls pretending to be another Skrull isn't even a Skrull. He just has a Mission Impossible mask.
I was going to say Mission Impossible the whole time.
So I don't think that it's like super smart or anything, but at the same time, like I was hoping it would be a little. I was thinking, maybe there's a clue with the fact that they're all, the ones that are wearing beanies. Maybe those are ones, and so maybe we'll find out that Sam Jackson's been a Skrull along, and then it's like, well, okay, it doesn't seem like they're quite that smart, but whatever.
No, I don't give them that much credit.
Yeah,
and
I still have
also the whole thing was so boring. Like it wasn't interesting. I'm sorry.
I'm just glad that they're in hot water for using AI for the intro sequence.
That was ridiculous. That was disgusting.
And their justification is, no, but it's supposed to look off-putting because they're Skrulls, they're face changers. Yeah, okay, but that's completely different from artificial intelligence. It would make sense if the show was about an artificial intelligence trying to pretend to be human.
Yeah,
like
I will say,
something like that.
Weirdly enough, for the first half, like third to a half of the
committee.
What was that?
Like who's writing the shows?
Who's writing? Who's
no one.
writing all this?
They're all written by committee.
Shot before the writer's strike happened was the problem.
Yeah.
Or was the thing, and could be a problem. But what I was going to say is actually the first half of the intro actually gave me a lot of Raised by Wolves vibes. It definitely turned weird and did not work out afterwards to be anything like that. But for the first little while, I'm like, this kind of reminds me of the Raised by Wolves intro. And
I forget, is that still on or is that not? Raised by Wolves.
Is what?
What was that?
Is that still on? Raised by Wolves.
No, it was canceled.
No, it got canceled, unfortunately.
Yeah.
One of the greatest shows.
Did it stay consistently good, or did it start good?
It gets better. Season 2 is twice the season.
It gets weirder. Yes, it gets very weird.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever had any of my questions ever answered in that.
They answered a lot of questions. They were planning on doing like 6 seasons, so they didn't answer all of them.
There are.
It was such a good show. It was so good.
How do they keep the shitty shows on and they take the good shows off?
Dude, the guy gets crucified upside down, okay? And then it's so good.
Like the Apostle Peter. Yeesh, damn.
Yeah, no, there were yeah. There were a bunch of allusions to that. Oh, I love it's so good. It's so good. Adam and Eve were robots, guys. Adam and Eve were robots. I love it.
I'm gonna watch that show now. I'm gonna watch that show now.
It's so good.
Oh, you know, was this when we were watching that?
It was really good.
It's still worth watching.
Yeah.
It was
It's
so
weird.
weird. It was so weird, and it just kept getting weirder. But it was intriguing the whole time.
Yeah.
I hate that it's canceled, but like, I don't feel like unsatisfied. Like watching the first 2 seasons, like I feel like I can finish the story in my head.
Yeah.
And like it's worth
watching,
even knowing that there's no ending.
Does it end on a cliffhanger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, very much so.
Damn, I hate
But,
that kind of shows, man.
yeah.
So sad, brother. But yeah, just
It's very
like
sad.
my conclusion about Secret Wars again. The first thing is the talking, like 40 minutes of straight talking about plot. The other thing is walking.
Yep.
People are chasing other people.
It is the Andor of the MCU.
Yeah, it is the Andor because they spend the whole entirety of the first episode walking to places, chasing people at walking speed. Who chases someone at walking speed? Like, come on. Literally,
Andor.
Three different chases in this episode, and they were all a walking speed. And I was like, what the hell? And then they do this thing that they always do in dumb shows where they literally have the gun in front of the bad guy about to shoot the bad guy and the freaking show right there and then, because we know these guys are not bulletproof. We know that one shot and they gone and they like and they transform themselves into scrolls.
It's horrible.
They don't shoot. Nick Fury is literally here, and this guy is in front of him like a meter or 2 meters, like a couple of feet away from him. And I'm like, I'm literally, when I'm watching that, I'm literally screaming at the screen, shoot him!
Are you talking about when he's in the crowd?
Yeah, in the crowd. He was right in front of him.
In the middle of a crowd.
Who cares? He's a bad guy. Who cares?
Yeah, unless it misses the bad
You're
guy.
in Russia.
He was holding the detonator, dude.
Yeah.
If you do shoot him and someone dies, that's an acceptable loss.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but if you miss, everybody else still dies.
You're in front of the
Exactly.
guy.
There's no consequences to missing because people were going to die anyway.
Yeah,
you take the shot.
There's no aiming. There's no aiming necessary. Just shoot the guy.
So here's my grievance with that particular scene. Literally, Amelia is like, look, there's going to be 3 carriers. 2 of them are going to have bags. Well, she didn't even say 2 of them. She just said 3 of them. There's going to be 3, and I'm going to be one of them. And what do? They only follow 2 of them.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's like,
well, because they were supposed to be following. She was like, oh, here, I'll mark the bags that are the real ones. And
The fact that they let her deliver the bombs is retarded.
Yeah.
There is no security agency on the face of this planet that would do that, and no one would make that choice. I mean, unless maybe 9/11 was an inside job, but so
and gaming.
That's just ridiculous, though. That literally, she's like, "Look, there's 3 of us, and you just gotta follow all 3 of them. Why didn't they do that?" Anyway.
It was so dumb.
Yeah, the whole thing was nonsensical and boring, and
I love Paw Patrol.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk about Picard season 3.
Yeah, but the thing is that Maria Hills dies. They are walking the whole show, talking the whole show, never shooting the bad guy. Even though the bad guy 1 second later does the thing that Nick Fury had to do. Like, instead of Nick Fury shooting the guy, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to shoot Maria." Boom, he dies. She shoots her in the belly. Like, I know that if you have a hemorrhage in the belly, I know that you can die. But come on,
do you know how long it takes? Do you know how long it takes to die from a belly shot?
Like 2 hours.
You could no. You could die like weeks later.
I know is that
when you
one of
get
the
shot
most
in the
painful,
belly,
yeah.
you die from infection. You don't die from blood loss.
Yeah, as long as it didn't hit any vital organs or arteries or anything.
But what
There aren't any
In the
vital
lungs.
organs in your belly.
But even assuming it did hit stuff or cause problems that would cause her to be dead,
No,
yeah,
but
it would take a long time.
like literally, this is my belly button. Like she got hit like somewhere near like the abdominal part. I didn't got hit in the lung, and maybe she's deformed and she has her lungs down there because she's so skinny that she has to rearrange.
A lung or a kidney shot could kill you, but yeah.
No, because the kidney
Anyway.
is right here. The kidney is right here in the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, you're right.
In the
It
middle.
wasn't.
Yeah, it is like literally here. It's literally here because
When you get shot in the belly, you die of starvation.
they show the blood going out, and it's like just a little strip, and then she starts bleeding out of her ass or something.
I think we've seen plenty of other examples of people being shot in ways that would not have killed them, but then it kills them because it's a show.
Yeah. But at least call an ambulance or someone, or don't you have what kind of mission?
I don't think she's dead. I think she's passed out.
Yeah. What kind of mission is this, by the way? Don't they have team like a team? Just the three of them?
No, they're rogue. They don't have anyone working with them because they pissed off MI6. It's retarded. I hate it.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
I'm already over it.
I'm done talking about it.
Exactly. Let's move on.
So, if you're moving on to Picard season 3, are we planning on making it over to the Matt Johnson movies? Or
did you watch them? Did anyone do their Matt Johnson homework?
I did. I watched them all. All three of them. Well, I didn't watch Nirvana, but I did watch the other one.
Right.
Yeah.
All three.
Well, that one wasn't required because it's impossible to find legally.
No. We can talk about
also,
a little
we
bit
do
of
have
project.
Memorial here, so I don't want to necessarily.
Yeah, we got to do Picard season
three.
3 because we've got to.
I just don't have any input on it because I haven't seen any of.
Me neither.
Picard at all.
So I might get off the stream early because
okay,
I streamed for 6 hours today.
Yeah,
I'm really tired.
Come on, excuses.
I don't have a beer to give me fuel or something. I'm starting to stop smoking again, so the whole week I didn't smoke.
Okay, why do people keep stopping halfway in between Operation Avalanche? That's literally when it gets good.
That was actually the one that I liked the best, but we can get onto it once you get to.
I mean, I can hop back later if we talk about that because I did watch that.
We'll talk about it.
I'm going to watch the stream. I'm going to be on the chat, so don't forget about me, guys. Yep. I'm going to take some rest. My throat is killing me, and I love all of you. Thank you so much for all the support. For real, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for giving me this choice. Thank you for giving me the choice for being in this show when I was 200 subscribers and 4 videos on. It's been so fun. It's been such a.
We love you, man.
I love you.
Super happy for you. Not jealous at all.
Don't worry, brother. Don't worry. Blessings. I'm the kind of guy that shares the blessings because I want to share the blessing with everyone, all my friends. So
I said it jokingly, but I genuinely, I am not jealous. I could not be happier for you.
Thank you so much, and everything I have, I'm going to share it with all of you. All the success that I have, I'm going to share it because we need to share the love. That's all we had to do. That's all about my channel is. Did you guys watch She-Hulk? Yeah, we did.
We covered it on the show.
We saw every episode of that.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Baby Nave, you gotta watch at least the finale. When we talk about the finale of She-Hulk, that was so funny because we were talking about the finale of She-Hulk, the finale of Rings of Power.
Was that the same episode? Did they both end the same week?
No, I think it's the week before. We were talking about we were talking about the fighting, the fighting scene of the Rings of Power. Remember when they were the battle?
Right. It was the worst episode of Rings of Power.
Exactly. Love you all.
Yep.
Exactly. I love you all, and thank you so much. I'm going to be back in an hour or so. See you.
All right. Night,
yeah.
Nerd Poriel, you joined kind of in the middle of the stream, so I didn't even really get to introduce you very well. But how long have you been doing YouTube?
I posted my first video in April of 2021, so it's just been a little over 2 years now.
So I think that's about the same time as when I started. I think it was April. I think it started in April.
Yep, April 11th, I believe. I actually got the date down.
Well, he's got a great channel, so go check out Nerdporials. But what is your history with Star Trek? Because with Star Trek, like there was a wide variety of the types of Star Trek fans, right?
Definitely. I don't know anything about that. I mean, you had your Trekkies and Trekkers. The one, I think the Trekkies were the ones that embraced everything the Trekkers embraced. Primarily, what was Gene Roddenberry's vision? I think I'm not sure, but
there's just so many shows across so many generations that not everyone has seen it all. Some people are,
I mean, yeah, there was. I mean, I'm 38 years old. I grew up in the 90s.
The Nerdporial is the Star Trek.
I've done a lot of Star Trek related content. So, yeah, I mean, I started watching when I was 11. So, I mean, TNG was on when I was growing up. Early 90s was on. It was on. I live in Chicago, so it was on the Channel 50. So it was on all the time. So I was aware of it. I thought it was boring, but then again, I was a kid who watched cartoons mainly.
Yeah.
So
it's not the best kid show.
Nope, it's not.
It's not as flashy as Star Wars.
The original series at that point, because that one's rough.
Yeah, I did catch a few. I did catch a few original series episodes as a kid. I actually enjoyed those. The one with the Gorn Arena, and of course the one with.
Yes.
I didn't even realize it, but the one with Khan, Space Seed.
It's great.
I didn't even realize that was Khan. Until years later.
Didn't realize the significance.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't significant until later. So.
Well, that's
watched
true.
The whole series, and so I'm sitting there going there's only 3 seasons of this, but oh my gosh, there's 52 episodes, and they're all 55 minutes long, and holy cow, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, remember back when one season of television had 50 episodes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the original series case, it was I think the first season was 30 or 29.
Oh, maybe that's
episode 29.
But yeah, they were all 55 minutes
episodes.
instead of the 40 some odd that we're used to now. And again, they were made for an audience that is used to sitting around a radio, listening to radio plays, and now we get these cool visuals.
Yeah.
So it was great for what it was for the time, and there was some great character work in there. But it was rough for modern entertainment.
I mean, 60s. I mean, the compared to modern entertainment, the original series episodes are written really, really well. You get into those episodes, they're immersive. Even the soundtracks, which are are worth at least, especially the way that they were done, are
really good.
Thing of the 60s. But they were very dramatic. They provided a lot of atmosphere, and especially that first season. Some of the, I mean, I have all the tracks. I bought all the tracks that La La Land Records released a few years ago. It's something that you can easily drive to, especially if you're just driving. You just want to be alone and just in your thoughts and everything. That's a great thing to have on. But
well, and I think that's why I referenced the idea that to me, I think about it being something that was created for people who are used to radio plays, because again, the audio is what was so huge, and getting the really bombastic score really pulls you into it in a way that you would have needed for a radio show. That it still added so much to
the delivery and the acting, the delivery of the lines. There's an episode of the original series called Balance of Terror. That's the episode where they first meet the Romulans, and the Romulans, spoiler alert, look just like the Vulcans. And there's a series out right now called Strange New Worlds. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes,
it's the latest. It's one of the latest along the line of what some, including myself, call New Trek. Well, they made a what if episode of Strange New Worlds where instead of Captain Kirk being in command of the Enterprise, it was Captain Pike, Anson Mount's Captain Pike. And let's just say
they did this for one episode.
Yeah, they did this for one episode.
The show is following Captain Pike, but this is going specifically on that.
So this
episode.
is like an alternate universe. How is it presented? How do they justify the what if?
It's a plot point that they introduced in Star Trek Discovery with these Klingon time crystals. Yeah, don't remember the episode, TNG episode Rightful Heir, where they go to Boreth, the monk planet, where they encounter or they find the clone of Kahless, You know, their hero of legend, the Klingon hero of legend, and all that. Their god. I wouldn't say god, but
I don't remember the episode. So I have less Trek experience. I never watched it like religiously. I've seen a lot of Trek. Like I've probably seen 50 to 100 episodes, but scattered throughout the original series and TNG. So I never watched it weekly, right?
So Strange New Worlds is a spin-off of Discovery Season 2, because Discovery Season 2 features the Enterprise.
And I know there was some sort of like reboot there.
Anson Mounts, Captain Pike, Ethan Peck, Spock, and I forget what was the woman's the woman that plays Una or number one, the one from X-Men, Mystique. I can't think of her name. Rebecca Romijn.
Yeah.
So those three are in Strange New Worlds, and there was a plot point where Pike sees his future on this Klingon world, and he sees himself as he was depicted in the original series 2-parter, The Menagerie. So Captain Pike was the original captain of the Enterprise in the very first pilot, The Cage. Yep. But The Cage never aired because the studio didn't like it. They didn't understand it. It was the one where he encounters the Telosians, the ones with the big heads, and that they can talk to him telepathically, and they can create illusions of anything they wish him to see. Well, and they had him locked up in a cage. And there was an Orville episode that kind of made fun of that in I think the first season.
Yep.
But in the Menagerie, the Menagerie was their attempt. They were the production ran out of scripts, so they had to write an envelope, what they called an envelope episode, where they took footage of they took the episode that they didn't use, The Cage, and they wrote an episode around that episode. So if Spock goes and Spock hijacks the Enterprise and abducts a horribly disfigured Captain Pike. Obviously, he's all in makeup. He's in a wheelchair, not played by the original actor Jeffrey Hunter, of course. And all he can do is they have to ask him yes or no questions, and he beeps beep beep for no and beep for yes. And that was the horrible fate that awaits Captain Pike, and that's the reason why Kirk is in command of the Enterprise and not Pike by the time you get to the original series.
Yeah, I was going to say, canonically in the show, Pike was the captain of the Enterprise before Kirk took over, is the way they end up kind of retroactively fitting those all together, right?
Yeah, and so the what if Pike never went through that accident rescuing all those cadets and not being disfigured and remaining as captain of the Enterprise? Well, in that case, they failed in the mission, the Balance of Terror mission, because the Romulans, one thing they say in the original series episode, they have to hunt and destroy the Romulan craft that's been destroying their outposts along the neutral zone. And if they don't do that, the Romulans are going to come back, report to their government saying that Earth's defenses or the Federation's defenses are inferior to ours. They're going to come back with their fleets and they're going to invade because they're an empire. They conquer. And that's exactly what happens at the end of this What If episode. They come in with their full fleets, and the Federation is at like a 50-year war. So you see a version of Pike. He's wearing the TOS movie era outfit, the red outfit, the red naval outfit. And he's talking to the younger Pike saying, we're still at war. So this future doesn't work. This future is bad for us. This is an evil future for us. And that's where like I said, they tried to, what I'm trying to get at is they reused some of the dialogue from the original episode. And there was none of the gravitas, none of the acting chops, none of the gravitas that made the original, actors, watchable. Like you have Nimoy Spock compared to Ethan Peck Spock. He can't deliver Spock. And then you have the Romulan commander played by some twerp in Strange New Worlds compared to the great Mark Leonard, who later played Sarek, Spock's father. Same thing. I'm watching this. I'm just like, this is like you can't even recreate a classic episode along the acting line. So why am I going to watch? Yeah. Why should I watch the rest of your show? And plus, they weren't even trying to be consistent with the original series. Strange New Worlds, they have Dr. Mabanga who was in 2 episodes of the original series, and he was under McCoy's medical staff. Well, in Strange New Worlds, which takes place before the original series, he's the chief medical officer. So what the fuck happens by the time season 1 of the original series happens, and McCoy becomes the head of the ship's medical department? Is it because of a certain word that begins with a P? Privilege? I mean, where are they going with this? And it's just inconsistent with what was established in the original series. What we should be seeing is Dr. Boyce, the original doctor, who was, who had a great conversation with Pike, who was the original, inspiration for McCoy, and all the other original characters, and then kind of brush them out and bring your new characters in, and of course include some characters from the second pilot where no man has gone before. Lieutenant Alden, the original communications officer, I mean, he's he's a POC. I mean, and this was before Nichelle Nichols played the communications officer, Uhura. So
that's what always gets me with the inclusion stuff. When there are characters that they could be using that are in canon, and they don't use them, and they go out of their way to create new characters or race swap characters. You're like, but there was one right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can still be consistent and maintain your whatever it is. But I mean, I've been watching original series. I started collecting the VHS tapes in the mid '90s, and I watched all that. I was watching Voyager when it was on TV. I watched reruns of TNG. I eventually bought all the DS9 DVDs, watched that, love it. Same with Enterprise. I didn't get an Enterprise right away, but I watched it 4 seasons. Every season got better.
Enterprise was the last old Trek, right?
Yeah.
Before the last good Trek.
The last good Trek. Discovery started new Trek. Yeah.
I grew up with my dad loving Trek, and I watched a bunch of just episodes here and there with him, and I caught as he was watching Voyager and DS9, and would watch that with him. And then a number of years ago, I'd always considered myself a nerd enough that I was like, I'm kind of a Trekkie, but I've never really seen a ton. I've just seen whatever my dad showed me. And so I went, and when they were all on Netflix, I binged through the entire series through to Enterprise.
Wow,
which was a lot of fun.
That's a lot of work.
It was a lot of freaking Trek.
700.
I tried to do the same thing, and
yeah, I did miss. I think I've missed Nemesis. I missed a couple of the movies, 1 or 2 of the movies, but yeah, I even watched a bunch of the movies. Just whatever release order was, I watched all those.
I'll say this: Red Letter Media is right about their criticism of Nemesis. But one thing I liked Nemesis did repurpose, like Wrath of Khan, especially. I mean,
right?
A lot of those battle movies usually did. But I rewatched Nemesis alongside watching Picard season 3, because I'll be honest, like Picard season 3 was a series that got a lot of praise by a lot of content creators that have bashed on Discovery, have bashed on the earlier Picard seasons, have bashed on. They don't even talk about Strange New Worlds, I don't think. But reason why I watched this was because Robert Meyer Burnett said this is the series. This is the series that's going to bring Star Trek back to. This is the series I like, and this is where Star Trek is supposed to be. I literally use what he says in the opening of all of my. I did live streams. Yeah, I did live stream discussions and live stream reactions. Me and the Prophet of the Dragon would watch the episode. We do a live reaction to it. And Prophet of the Dragon's not a Star Trek fan. He's just a TV guy. He's a television fan, and he's really good at pointing stuff out, pointing out inconsistencies. Yeah, solid guy.
I need to get him on the show.
You do. You got it. So. But we watched it. I was excited. I was like, you know what? I like Robert Meyer Burnett. I believe him.
Yeah, I saw the same recommendation, which is why I was interested.
He's been critical of Star Trek since 2009. And I initially liked the Star Trek 2009, the J.J. Abrams stuff. But then the more J.J. Abrams stuff I watched, I realized back then I was a sweet summer child and didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, the movies. Yeah, the movies is very similar to how I feel about Picard. It's that. I don't think they're bad movies. I think they're bad Star Trek.
Yeah,
but I can definitely understand that one because I enjoyed them. I watched the new the JJ verse movies and I enjoyed them. And I watched even the first season of Discovery, and it was I enjoyed it enough, but it wasn't to the level of the rest of Trek. It wasn't, and I haven't really caught up since then. I haven't watched anything since the first season of Discovery. Just haven't been on top of it with it being on Paramount Plus and not easy to access.
Yeah, it wasn't even I mean, I watched the first 2 seasons of Discovery. That's not what really. I mean, the reason why I stopped watching Discovery was the end of season 2 was just terrible. Like I watched season 1. Everybody, like a lot of people I know were out by a few episodes within season 1. I kept watching. I wanted to give it a chance for the reason TNG. All the Star Trek shows in the past, they've always started off kind of had to find its footing, and so I thought it would be the same for Discovery. But then after watching season 2, they blatantly disregarded the original series, and that's the thing that I just can't forgive. They had a battle with billions of drones and billions of shuttlecraft. I'm like, this doesn't fit with the original series. Not at all.
What they're trying to be Star Wars.
That's exactly what.
And that's the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek. Star Wars is a fantasy.
Yeah.
Star Trek is a sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are good There are a couple of good things that I've seen, but for the most part, they're completely abandoning their sci-fi roots and trying to be more like Star Wars, which is just it's not what Star Trek is.
They need to adapt to a modern audience. That's the reasoning, and they need to make all that money back that they're spending on the 50 producers that you see in the beginning of every new Trek series. And then of course they spend it even more on a bunch of crappy CGI. My bad, I should have sworn.
Yeah.
But
it's fine.
But yeah,
I liked Zachary Quinto. I thought he did a pretty good job as Spock.
Yeah, I just wish they I think he would have
Bones.
He would have been. I think he would have been better had he been written better and not as emotional. Like, I mean, that's not what Spock is. Spock is
supposed to be hidden under the surface. It's not supposed to be nearly as up top.
Yeah, and that's the character of Spock. When I saw him scream Khan, I'm like, shut the.
Yeah, the Into Darkness has its own problems.
It completely worked for me. The reference to the we're swapping Wrath of Khan. I totally fell for it, and I'm fine with it.
As far as I'm concerned, Benedict Cumberbatch's character, he's John Harrison, the original name that they gave to the press. That's as far as I'm concerned. He's John Harrison. He's one of Khan's people. He is not Khan himself. There's only one Khan. And that's Ricardo Montalban. Nobody can recreate that performance. That performance of Wrath of Khan
is genuinely good.
Oh my gosh! I don't know you, but you, angry Mexican, technically Mexican. I never forget a face. It's ooh. I get goosebumps whenever I even when I'm quoting him. So
yeah. So I know it's a hard question, but what's your favorite series then?
Well, I mean, if you want to be technical, I think the best written series, the most engaging series, DS9. But my favorite series is the original. Okay. Like the original is my gold and everything. Like it's my comfort. So
you'd go Kirk over Picard then in the classic.
Well, the way Picard has been and the way Picard's been, yeah. I mean, Kirk and then Sisko. I know some people are going to say Sisko's the best.
Sisko is from Deep Space Nine. Yep. Is that it?
Yep, that's correct. And then Sisko.
Voyager is that's
Janeway.
And they had a 7 of 9 in that series too, right?
They did.
From Next Gen.
And then I have some issues with her current 7 of 9 in Picard versus her the 7 of 9 Voyager is not the same character as the 7 of 9 in Picard. Excuse me, sorry, Jerry Ryan in Picard. Jerry Ryan playing Jerry Ryan, murdering people in Picard, season 1 especially.
Yeah, well, so I skipped straight to season 3 of Picard because I saw the first episode of Picard season 1 and I was like, I'm good.
It's let's just say that season 1 of Picard really really broke my heart. Like it was horrible. Like the way they treated the characters, like the way the way they treated. I mean, there's a Voyager character named Icheb who was who they found. He's a Borg. So like like 7 of 9 was a former Borg. They found she was with them. They managed to disconnect her against her will, but they disconnected her from the collective, and then she learned to embrace her individuality. Well, it was a similar situation. There was an episode in season 6 of Voyager where they found a bunch of Borg children, and the one that stayed on the ship all the way to the finale was Icheb, and he was a teenager. So they obviously didn't use the original actor that played him, because the original actor got in trouble for saying some insensitive stuff on social media. I'll just say, I don't know if they ripped out his eye and killed him just to because of what the actor did. I don't know, but they literally rip out his eye, and you see it. It's like graphic. It's graphic, and like, this is not Star Trek. I mean, there are points where you see some hints or it's as Hitchcock would put it, it's suggested that there might be some graphic violence, but you don't actually see it. Like, especially in First Contact, where you see the needle getting very close to Picard's eye, as Locutus and all that. And that was pretty much it. But they actually showed like them ripping out a cybernetic eye, and he's screaming, and there's blood. And what does 7 of 9 do? She kills everybody that's ripping out his eye, and then he's just like, I can't live anymore, mother, kill me. And then she kills him. I was like, you wasted a character like that. I'm like, seriously.
Yeah.
And then 7 of 9 goes after this is years before. Then 7 of 9 goes after them in the present during Picard season 1, and then she just murders everybody. And Picard's like, you're not going to murder them, right? No. Can I have your phaser rifle? Okay, here you go. And then she goes and murders them. I'm not joking. Like, this is, and Picard, the way Patrick Stewart plays Picard is just, it's once again, it's not the same character. It's not the strong moral diplomat.
There were some glimpses of the old Picard in season 3, but I haven't seen 1 and 2.
There was my favorite episode of season 3 was episode 5, the one with they brought back Commander Rowe,
and he doesn't know if she's a changeling or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That episode was
that
really
was
good.
His best. That was Patrick Stewart's best performance as old Picard. I was seeing more. I was seeing the older. I was seeing the original. I was seeing TNG Picard, but then, and I was thinking, okay, if this is it, then the series is going to get better. Picard's just going to keep elevating like that. And then episode 6 came, and he reverted back to the feeble old guy. And a lot of people, I mean, I talked to people who really enjoyed episode 6. That was the one where they meet Geordi. And and he's running the museum. And he's like, he goes full, I call him Jake LaForge, because he goes Jake Skywalker on them. He's like, I can't support you because my children will be in danger. And he tries to get Sydney, the daughter that's the helmsman, or helmswoman, excuse me, helmsperson, sorry to be politically correct, to go and join them, and to leave them be, not help them. I was like, that's not the Geordi I would know, especially the way old Geordi was depicted in the finale. All Good Things with it was alternate future, but the alternate future version was better than what we actually got. Yeah. Even Picard was just an old grouchy dude in the alternate future of All Good Things, where he's running the vineyard, and he's just, he's got the aromatic syndrome, and he's just pissed off. He just lashes out. And here it's just, I don't know. But like, the thing is, the first episode. So I was watching this. Prophet of the Dragon didn't like this from the start. He asked a lot of questions. They didn't answer questions. I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. I really wanted this to be a good series. But they used the whole mystery box thing. Like the whole, who is this person that Beverly let's go back to episode 1 of season 3. We're on board the ship. We see a whole bunch of Easter eggs. We even hear a captain's log when when Picard, during the events of Best of Both Worlds Part 1, where they're hiding in the nebula from the Borg cube, we hear the captain's log, and I was just thinking, oh, are they going to include a certain cybernetic race in this series? And of course, ultimately, yes, that was the case. But I hated how they did it. I hated how it was like a freaking cartoon. But going back, see the first episode, we don't know who these bad guys are that are boarding Beverly Crusher's ship. I forgot the name of the ship. So we don't know who they are. That's mystery number one. Mystery number two is who's the guy that she locks into the bridge or whatever that room was. And he's like, no, I can help. No. Okay, so we don't know who that is. So two mysteries right there. And when we find out what those mysteries are, I mean, especially who the bad guys are that have boarded her craft. If you watch Deep Space Nine, it makes no sense. Like the those were shapeshifters.
Was Deep Space Nine where they first introduced the changelings?
Yeah, the shapeshifters, the changelings are the founders of the Dominion, and the founders themselves do not fight. They do not use energy weapons. They don't need to use energy weapons. They can turn their arms into tentacles and strangle you, and you're dead. Yeah, they are dangerous. There's a whole episode of DS9 season 3, the season finale, where they have to hunt for a single shapeshifter on the USS Defiant, and if you watch the episode, the shapeshifter can like propel itself into vents. It can turn into anything. It can turn into anything. It can merge. It can be translucent.
I just realized that's why episode 5 was good, because they have the whole like invasion of the body snatchers trope where like you don't know who's on your side and who isn't, and they never used it. Episode 5 was the only time where they actually had Picard like try and use deductive reasoning to figure out if the person he's sitting across from is a changeling.
Yeah.
Why would you not use that more? I guess there was that one scene where they had like the video conference.
Yeah.
Or where seven of nine had but it was over in seconds, right? Like
right.
And she tells him, "Hey, I know you're a changeling." Which why would you if you figured it out? Why not? Why would you give them away that free information?
Yeah,
it was such a stupid decision when she. Oh gosh.
Yeah, and let's just say the way they ended her, the way she died, they could have done better. Like they literally leave a bomb on. They leave a bomb on the shuttle she's on, just so that they're like, okay, why not just shoot her? And
I know.
like they leave a bomb on
because she had to have time.
So she just flies it into the nacelle. I'm like, okay, like that's there could have been a better way. You know, we talked about it on my after show, and Alex, you know, one of the White Cloaks, Alex was a regular that we talked about this with. He suggested they should have made her a shapeshifter. Like she should have went through the entire process, passed that deductive reasoning test of Picard, you know, knowing everything. Especially the events of the TNG episode Preemptive Strike, which was the last time we saw her. That was the thing I really liked about that. It was addressing that elephant in the room, because they never followed up on the penultimate episode of TNG with the Maquis and everything. So, what was I saying? She could have passed all that. The DS9 shapeshifters could have been able to pass that. Heck, they were able to fool. They were able in that same episode, that same DS9 episode where they're hunting the shapeshifter. They were able to fool the crew into placing the blame on another person for being a shapeshifter. Like they are that good. Like they are that good at being. They're very crafty. I'll say that. But if they were going to have people on the floor, if they were going to have some enforcement, they would have sent Jem Hadar. They're the founders of the Dominion. So, but I didn't like how the shapeshifters. You know how like Vadic. So the Vadic is the main shapeshifter. She runs the Shrike
I could not stand her performance. It was so just over the top and like just she just never like landed on anything. She just kept trying to be weird for the sake of being weird because she's a changeling. I was like, I'm not intimidated by your character.
Neither was I. Like I was watching, like I was expecting her to be like next level, like bad. Like I was expecting like Shinzon from Star Trek Nemesis boiled boiled up to level 15. And we didn't get that. We didn't get that at all. I rewatched Nemesis myself. Nemesis is not the best. It's not the best movie, but I actually enjoyed Nemesis. I've been watching TNG. I've been watching a bunch of older Trek alongside Picard season 3 to basically. Well, that and I just wanted to, maybe I'm souring on the entire franchise, not just Picard. I mean, maybe I'm being unfair to Picard season 3. And I'm watching episodes and I'm just like, there's a major difference. Now, I'll say this about season 3. I get why people like it. And if you like the series,
I do too.
If you like the series, I'm happy that you like it. But I just can't say it's good though.
It's a massive improvement. It's the best thing that New Trek has done.
It is. And I don't think it's going to get. I think that's going to be.
Well, it's over. They said it was the final season. They're not going to do any more Picard, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, I'm going to sound a little pessimistic here, but I think that's the best that they're ever going to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've already said we're not even going to try and top it. It's the best thing we've done, and now it's canceled.
Unless they give Terry Matalas the keys and they have him do Star Trek Legacy, which is supposed to be follow up. It's not the Titan anymore. It's the Enterprise. It's the Enterprise G. It's not the Titan anymore. It's the Enterprise G, and they're going to follow up on the adventures of Captain 7 of 9, who I can't stand because of Picard season 1.
Right.
And I honestly didn't think she earned the captaincy. Yeah, I mean, like it's just.
I'm missing the context from seasons 1 and 2. I don't think she was horrible in season 3, but
no, I didn't think she was. She wasn't nearly as bad in season 3. No, but like the way that she got promoted just didn't make sense to me because she was in because the recording that we hear at the end of the series was
when did he record that?
It was before the events of episode 1, and there's no indication that there was any goodwill between them before the events. Like she was already
played
tension.
off like he had learned from their experience, but he sent it before the show even started.
Like exactly, like just they should have just did that. It would have been fine. Like just there's so many things that didn't make sense. Like once again,
I did like that the captain though. I liked
Captain Shaw was fine until he did not step up for one of his crewmen when they Neganed one of his crew. Like they literally copied Walking Dead, lined them all up, and they spoiler, they killed the Vulcan. They killed the Vulcan. I think she was the science officer or the operations officer, one of the two.
What a twist. She didn't shoot the one she was pointing at.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But why? What purpose did that serve? I don't know. It was
I'm watching this. I'm like, fake out. And then I mean, I've heard people justify that saying, "Oh, he's not the best captain. He's not like Captain Kirk and Picard and all that." I'm like, to be a Starfleet captain, you got to be like that. I mean, it's not. I mean, maybe you might not have the best ship, but you got. I mean, that's what it takes to be a Starfleet captain. You have to have that. You have to have the courage to stand up for your crew. I mean, seriously. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he didn't do that, and 7 of 9 had to do that instead. And then, of course, you had there's so many other logistical issues with like you had all those goons come out of the other door. Like, where'd they come from? Those other shapeshifter goons. Like, they didn't come out of the turbo lift. They came out of another door. Was it another turbo lift?
That episode pissed me off. The whole no, this was a trap for you, but no, you're trapped in here with me. But the trap was a trap, and like everyone in that episode just came off looking like morons.
Yeah, the droid, and then the Jack. Okay, so what? Okay, we haven't talked about the other elephant, the other mystery of the room. Jack Crusher.
Jack Crusher.
The mystery man in the beginning of episode 1.
Yeah. I guess they tell you at the end of episode 1 or 2?
At the end of episode 1, they tell you that we know that he is Beverly's son. Mm-hmm. It's at the end of episode 2 when Beverly gets McFadden, and I actually thought that was actually a decent. Me and Wakizashi's Tea House, we agreed on this one that was actually a good moment where she didn't even say anything. It was all subtextual. Mm-hmm. That she just looked at Picard, and Picard realized, "Oh, I am Picard. Picard is the father." So
the first 2 episodes I just wasn't really into. It was like production quality. It looks nice. It looks good. None of this feels like Star Trek to me. I don't understand why people have money all of a sudden. Like, I thought, I know that it existed in some of the original series, but I thought by this time they'd moved past money because because of replication, they didn't need a currency and people just worked because they wanted to, but everyone's dealing with money. I couldn't care less about the junkie character. I had no interest in her story.
Rafi. that was awful. And then what was even worse
she did nothing the entire show. I don't know why she was in it.
She was Worf's student. Like she fought shapeshifters, liquid people, or she called them goo people because
her character, she didn't do anything.
Can you imagine?
At all.
So I didn't like the first 2 episodes.
Can you imagine if Deep Space Nine, they called their major villain, the founders of the Dominion, goo people? That's what they did in this series. I cringed when I heard her say that.
Goo boys.
And and Michelle Hurd is not a bad actress. Like, she's been in a whole bunch of things. But her, like, I don't even understand. Like, the one thing I liked, I guess, that she's been in the series since season 1. So they got rid of all the other characters, all the other original characters except for her. They kept her. Yeah. She had this arc where she was a junkie. Like, her family didn't want
anything
to do with her.
A lesbian relationship with 7 of 9, right? That was what they were hinting at.
She did, and then this season, I guess they broke up.
Huh? Well, there was. I didn't realize that until like the line at the end of the show. Oh, hey, remember when we banged? Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And not only that, but like the first time,
1 and 2 for sure.
The first time you see them holding hands, they're sitting on like an outdoor park table, and that's what they use for their prop for their furniture in Picard season 1. And it's like seriously, this is what you're using. Now it even furthers my suspecting that all the money that's going into the series is going into the pockets of all the producers instead of into the production itself.
I mean, I don't think it looked bad. It was season 3, right? Okay, you're talking about before. Okay,
season 1, yeah. They even have a starship in season 1. So,
oh dear. Okay.
But going back to season 3, I mean but Jack Crusher. So we find out that Ed Speleers plays the son of Jean-Luc and Beverly, which I find hard to believe. I have a hard time buying into the fact that they had a son after the events of Nemesis.
And that she never tells him, which honestly, that's when I started liking the show. Was episode 3. I didn't hate the show. I didn't love it. It was pretty mediocre. Felt like homework. I enjoyed the finale, but I did. So the first 2 episodes, I was just like, I'm not into this. I'm not paying attention. As I'm just watching it. And then episode 3, I liked because it felt it goes back to the roots of it presents a moral dilemma and people talk about it. And it was good. The whole stuff with like, hey, why wouldn't you tell me that I have a son? And all of the philosophy and the reasoning when they were talking about that, like the whole episode was like, hey, we have a moral conundrum. Let's talk about it. Let's do Star Trek again. And then the end of the episode ruins it when they say, yes.
I did not like that at all. I did not like Beverly Crusher's excuse for not telling
it was
Jean-Luc
bad. It was bad.
He had a son. Like, she robbed him of fatherhood. Like
Yes.
that's not.
But I liked that he got to say that to
forgiven.
her. It was fun to say that to her. It was fun to see him know, like, this was a horrible choice. You should have given me a chance.
And then she retorted. She retorted, and then he kind of just gave up. I forgot exactly what he said. He says, and at the end of the series, he's like, "You were right all along."
Yeah, I know. Stop. I hated that. Yes, I know. I remember.
He turned out just like me.
And then
you were right the whole time. No, she was not.
No, she wasn't. No, absolutely not. And like Robert Meyer Burnett was, they propped up him, a whole bunch of other channels. They propped up her. They propped up Jonathan Frakes' performance as Riker. As much as I like Riker, but I did not like. The end of episode 3, he literally says in front of the crew to Picard, he's like, "Remove yourself from the bridge. You have killed us all." That's not the conduct of a captain.
And I was liking that episode. He doesn't have to listen to his advice. He chose to listen to his advice, and then they had it go bad. They made Picard look like an idiot because obviously it was so obvious that's what they were going to do. And then they have him chew him out. And the ending, I was like, I was just starting to like the show. And then that happens. I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. And then episode 4 opens with him saying, I didn't actually mean what I said.
Yeah. So
what?
I was gonna say that literally it felt like he was like, "Oh, you killed us all," and then the next episode he's like,
"Sorry,
oh, that's okay, it's okay. Like we'll work through this." Like,
but also, you made the decision. He was giving you advice.
Yeah. And plus, you don't talk to. I mean, and Picard's still an admiral. I mean, he's a retired admiral, but he's still an admiral. You don't talk to an admiral like that either.
No, you killed. I hate that. That moment.
Yeah, a coworker, like an ex-coworker, called me today. He just watched that episode for the first time. He's like, and he was a former Marine veteran. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like,
it immediately just killed all of the good grace that I'd finally given the show.
Yeah. And then just like I'm going to say this, there was a good story. There was a good story that I feel they could have done with the ideas, the basic ideas. Like they should have just done a prologue, like a real prologue, like setting everything up. Like what is going on? Has there been people have been missing or people are acting strangely. And then there's been Dominion movement in the Gamma Quadrant. The wormholes opening up or closing, opening and closing for no reason, or maybe there's a Romulan, or heck, forget the Dominion. This is not Deep Space Nine. How about like Sela? Remember Sela, Denise Crosby, the Romulan? She's Tasha Yar's alternate Yesterday Enterprise, Tasha Yar's daughter.
I'd have to see a picture. But,
yeah. She was. They never really. Last time we saw her was Unification, the two-parter featuring Larry Nimoy as Spock. But they could have brought her back as a villain, and she would have been, she would have taken over the remnants of the Romulan Empire. They would have probably gone a whole bunch. They would have started a massive war with the Federation, and Picard gets warned about this from his nephew. His nephew's alive, Rene. So instead of creating this character named Jack Crusher, who is the son that I do not believe. I can't suspend my disbelief. What they could have done to save, I know why Terry Matalas did this. If you've seen Star Trek Generations, he hates Star Trek Generations, and Star Trek Generations killed Picard's nephew off screen. Like he hears news that the Chateau Picard, his older brother and his nephew were perished in a fire. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole reason why, he is tempted to go or not to leave the Nexus or something. It's stupid bullshit like that. Excuse my language again. But they could have changed it to the point where Renee was actually alive, and that the fire was started by people that hated Picard for being Locutus and for, families of, the people that died, fighting Locutus. And instead of killing Renee would be alive, and he would be one of those Fenris Rangers that they made up for New Trek. So, and And that I think would have been a great story. Maybe if they could have gotten the original actor back, he'd be in his 40s now, and there would be conflict right there. Uncle, why have you not looked for me?
Yeah,
that would have been a great. I think that would have been a great story. And then because the thing that it breaks my heart when I hear this from Star Trek Generations, he cries. Jean-Luc Picard cries to Deanna. He's like, Renee was our last. There'd be no more Picards now. I'm the last Picard now. Now that my nephew's gone. Well, now his nephew, they could bring him. They bring him back, and he would be alive. And I think that would have been a great way to. I think that would have been a great way to handle that instead of giving him the son. But that's just my opinion.
But Hollywood loves deadbeat dads who aren't there for their kids.
But this is one situation that's not Picard's fault, and just
I know
the fact that he was robbed of fatherhood.
I loved when he was freaking yelling at her.
Yes,
and then I hated when he apologized.
Yes, it's so there was agency in Picard, and at that moment, and of course in episode 5 when he's calling out Ro, I thought that was great, and I was expecting to see more of that. But then, what happened? So they kill Vadic. Vadic says "effing solids," like the cringe that she is, and she could have been a great villain. Like
could have.
I mean, the one time she turns into a puddle and escapes, and it was done terribly. She's right in front of them, and what
was their plan? So like she gets away because they released the gates, but they were planning on lowering them anyway to kill her. So like they got exactly what she wanted, but she somehow still escapes because their phasers don't work.
I think she escaped because Lore was in the system.
Yeah,
Lore,
and
Lore was taking over the system, and he released everything.
Yes,
released all the force fields. And
but before that happened, they had just decided they were going to kill her anyway, and they were planning on lowering the shields and shooting her. So they got exactly what they wanted.
Yeah. But get this one.
But the guns didn't work, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
So apparently, I didn't know this was a thing. But apparently you can decompress the bridge from the view screen. So they got sucked out. Vadic and her 7-foot tall second in command, Michael Myers, because he was practically Michael Myers. They shoot him, he gets back up like it's nothing. Yeah. So they blast him into space. And the only reason why Jack and 7 of 9 don't get blasted into space because they have this stupid spherical shield that reminds me of the shield of the Droidicas from prequels. Yes. I'm like, wouldn't that would still suck them out? So that that didn't make sense. And then I was expecting her to come back. With vengeance at the end of episode 8.
Well, they could just grab her chunks and put them back together. I don't know.
Yeah,
well, but
and then
sorry. The issue is that she's not meant to be the big bad guy, right? Like the whole thing, this series, the bad guy isn't meant to be her. It's meant to be the Borg.
Don't get me started. It was so stupid.
But what I think is funny is that literally the previous season, and this is what I didn't like about this whole season.
The previous season was about the Borg, right? About them having sex with everybody.
Yeah, they were making friends with the Borg, right? How literally like the Borg weren't going to be this killing machine anymore, and all that. And then literally this next season, it's all about how they team up with the change shifters, and they want to kill everybody again. I'm like, what the fetch is going on?
And
my gosh, but throughout there were a couple episodes. So Vadic you think Vadic's the big bad, huh? Well, she cuts off her hand, and all of a sudden there's this demon jelly head, terrible CGI.
Wait, was that thing. The Borg Queen?
Or was that? I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
It was the shapeshifter consciousness.
They never really confirmed that. It was like a Blofeld. It was like, if you ever seen Commercial with Love, it was like, the main villain is reporting to the bigger villain, and if the bigger villain or if the bigger villain's unhappy, they'll punish you or something. Same with, if you ever seen the anime Gatchaman, or same thing. Like you have the human bad guy, but he actually reports
Jared
to
made
an
a funny
alien.
joke Comprehension is futile.
Yeah.
Good job.
It was like something out of a freaking cartoon. I'm like, this is not worthy of Star Trek. I mean, this is just tell the story. What is with this? This is not. I mean, Star Wars could do this, but heck, I don't even think this is below Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is cartoon level. All right, maybe Bond. Bond can get away with it because Bond's actually early Bond was awesome. Spectre, yeah, but that's beside the point. We don't know who this demon jellyhead thing is. I'm assuming it's the Borg Queen. It probably is the Borg Queen, but that doesn't make sense. Why would the founders or the shapeshifters team up with the Borg Queen, or work for the Borg Queen? Like the Borg Queen was controlling them somehow, but we don't know how she was controlling them.
It's because
mind network or something like that.
Because the script says so.
It's because they're the same. Because they're like one thing and the Borg is one thing, and so they it's called group think.
Oh, and what it was is it was the sun, right? The sun was the basically the antenna that was basically broadcasting it all. So it was like the Borg was using the sun to broadcast the signal to the changelings about how to like work and everything like that.
But they had to capture him first.
Yes.
So they didn't use the sun. They're in the red eye of Jupiter. The Borg were in the red eye of Jupiter the whole time. But for all those shields, and Prophet of the Dragon pointed this out, for all those shields that the space dock had, they didn't spend the budget on good surveillance equipment for because they were right there. They're in the solar system. They're 2 planets away.
Why did the Borg Queen invite them in?
Because the script said so, and
because they needed to get in.
Yeah, because they.
I thought like there would be an explanation. I guess she just wanted to gloat. She wanted to talk to Picard before he died. So, but they sacrificed their whole plans.
Just the whole Jack Crusher. So Jack Crusher. So Jack Crusher throughout episode, I think it was episode 4. I think starting with 3, we find out he sees red. He sees like red clouds,
little
red
tentacles,
red veins, tentacles. And we see his eyes turn red, and all of a sudden he goes all Jason Bourne and starts fighting. He starts fighting people, fighting other shapeshifters. He's fighting shapeshifters like his breakfast. And so the whole thing was what is controlling him? Why are his eyes turning red? And a lot of people, including myself, thought, well, maybe because they have the shapeshifters, maybe they're taking another DS9 villain, the Pa Wraiths, and they're using them they're the ones controlling Jack. Like maybe Beverly and Jack went to a planet, or maybe they went to Bajor, maybe they stumbled upon those fire caves and they accidentally released them. I don't know. No, it's the Borg.
Yeah.
Those red eyes were the Borg. Were the Borg. Why were they the Borg? Because it was the red eye of Jupiter. That's why. That's the red. The red and the red eyes and that red door, and you see all the red clouds. That's the red eye of Jupiter.
Stop. I just made that connect. You just explained the connection, and it's retarded. So stop. And that's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
It gets worse. It gets worse. They let him go. Like they let him go. Like once the revelation happens, he leaves. He goes, joins the Borg. He leaves, tries to kill the Borg, but she controls him. She captures him, and because of that, he is now the channeler. He's channeling his Borg Tenna, and takes over the whole dumb concept of the ships unifying in their systems and everything. I forgot what they call it. And so they take control of all the ships, and because the Borg are now aegis, they take over all the young cadets, like under 25 or something. And it's just so they're basically what happens.
The main thing one of the other things that I really hated about this is it literally felt like it was just for nostalgia that they were doing this whole season. It's like, okay, we have these guys from the last seasons and Picard. Okay, so who do we get to bring in next time? Okay, we get to bring in Worf. Okay, who else are we missing?
Oh, I hated Worf in this. I thought Worf with white hair just looked so stupid.
Well, he was a walking, I'm going to have to quote Prophet the Dragon of this. He was basically a walking punchline.
Yeah, they end the season with him snoring, and I was like, but Worf is so cool. Why'd you make him look so dumb?
Yeah, but that's that was the hard thing for me, is that literally it just was like, oh yeah, okay, like this is cool to see these characters in this new thing, bringing them back kind of for like a reunion. But I felt like the plot,
that was the whole point,
was designed around. Oh, okay. How can we introduce Worf? Oh, okay, let's bring Worf in this way. Oh, how can we bring in Dad? Okay, we got to bring in him this way. Oh,
I mean, it was great to see them, take their seats again in the finale. But it got me riled up. I was like, it's everybody back together. But it wasn't worth. It wasn't worth the ride to get there.
The last 4 minutes of episode 9, where
when he says "make it so," I creamed.
The last 4 minutes of episode 9 with the music, with the music that they used, and the way the Enterprise looked when it was leaving the museum. I mean, I used that for my opening for the finale, and I actually really. I liked that little edit, the way it was edited and all that. That's where it ends.
So how they say a classic. There was a classic philosopher. That's the word I'm looking for. Who said, "It ain't about how fast you get there. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb." Right. Picard season 3 is the opposite of right. The reason to watch the show is because of the destination, but the journey really sucks.
Very good, yeah.
I don't even think the destination was great either.
No,
I mean, unless
as much as I wasn't enjoying the show when they get his line when he says like what I really liked about this, it was the carpets. I was like, oh yeah, he got me. And as much as I was hating it, I was like, I didn't want to like it, but I was like, but it was what the hell together again.
Well, we reacted to them turning on the freaking lights. That was the thing that we were. I was laughing at. Like,
it felt so good.
We can see what's going on. And
I think it was just like the catharsis of having to sit through the whole season.
Yeah.
That finally was like, finally, like something a little bit good.
Like, I did not see them bringing the Enterprise D back coming. I probably should have, because they kept talking about this starship, this starship museum. I did not think they'd bring I didn't think they'd bring the Enterprise D back or a bunch of other things.
It looks so good. It looks so good.
Yeah.
It's just I didn't like how it became Star Wars Picard at the end.
It did.
It was like that. The Enterprise D can't maneuver like that. They're not. It's a big ship.
My favorite part is when they were fighting the Borg cube, and they're like, "You're going to have to shoot all of the weapons manually," and she shoots like 3 guns, and then like they're in the middle of a fight, and everyone just stops. And
that was dumb.
Oh my goodness, you're a woman, and you shot some guns manually.
She's like, I've been through.
We are all very impressed. We are very impressed with you. Okay, let's get back to the war.
It's just like, come on. And then of course, like they kept teasing, Picard's probably gonna die or Riker's gonna die or something. Nothing happened. Nobody died.
I'm glad. I'm glad that they didn't just kill people off because.
I agree. I agree with that. So, and
I thought the one death of the side character, I forget her name, but who comes back. I thought that was that was fine. It was good. Ro.
But just the whole them taking over, just the whole starship taking over by the Borg. So I couldn't believe this. So they needed Jack to be the antenna, but they stole Picard's body because they kept his body preserved.
Why did they need his body?
So that they can procure more Picard DNA sperm, so that they can jizz on all the all the Starfleet.
But they had already done like all of the heavy lifting before they'd got his butt. They'd already infected everybody. It didn't make sense.
It didn't. I didn't even think. I thought it was a terrible idea that so basically every time. So whenever Jack looked at people beaming down, you saw the red.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the red in the beam. That was basically the transporter jizzing subatomically on the people. So when they beamed back, they had Locutus's jizz.
They were putting
and that's why they were
Jean-Luc Picard pieces in them.
Yeah, that's why they were able to be controlled, and and not only that, and this is something that I'm gonna credit Prophet of the Dragon on. So when the ships when the crew is fighting to regain control after the takeover of the Borg.
Are you going to talk about their teleporter guns?
Oh, we didn't get to that yet. But I'm talking about like there's a moment where the USS Excelsior, the bridge, the senior staff are trying to take over, but the ship gets commandeered, taken to a position, and then all the other of 4 ships, surrounded. And one of those ships is called the USS Hikaru Sulu, and they destroy it. They destroy it because they are out of line. But then when the Titan is going through the same thing with 7 of 9 and Raffi trying to retake the ship, they don't follow their own rules. They don't destroy the ship. And my joke to Prophet of the Dragon was, well, maybe Jack wants her alive because him and he likes Sydney wants to get in her thing. Because why not? I mean,
her thing.
But it was just like they didn't follow their own rules right there.
I thought the same thing.
Sorry, I'm complaining a lot about the series. I mean, I enjoyed parts of episode 5. I enjoyed the end. I enjoyed the end of episode 4 where they launch out, they solve a problem, they launch out, and they discover the jellyfish creatures, not the same jellyfish creatures from Farpoint, and they had to reference Farpoint because I guess people forgot somehow. Fans don't forget things like that, but whatever.
So that the whole nebula was just the jellyfish giving birth.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was just it was giving birth, and it was a contraction that launched them.
It's a contraction
out into space, and the portal weapon got disengaged, so they got rid of it, and it was just like the decisions didn't make sense. Like what the characters were doing did not make any sense. So I don't think there was a lot of time spent writing these episodes. I think Metalis and whoever he hired, his writing staff, had to write this really quickly and get this into production by a certain point.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'll do it. They're like, well, can you do this really quickly? He's like, yeah, I could probably do it really quickly. Because Metalis wrote other episodes. He wrote 2 episodes of Enterprise season 3. He wrote the Zombie Vulcan episode.
Okay.
And he wrote the episode where they had to use deception to trick one of the Xindi scientists into revealing where their doomsday weapon is. And that was a great episode. Those 2 were really good. I mean, I like the Vulcan one, but the latter one I just said was a really well written episode. So that's kind of why I also went into this series, expecting something different from Metalis. I mean, it is different. It is better.
It did feel rushed too. That because Picard season 1 and 2, like they did not perform well, and so they just like, all right, Terry, you can get the 3rd season. So like I would be interested in seeing him do Star Trek in the future. I think if he actually had full control, and I'm sure a lot of it was still Alex Kurtzman interference, not letting him be as awesome.
I don't think it was. I don't think Alex Kurtzman was doing anything. This was just. It was rushed, and it's a symptom of just modern TV now. I mean, the reason why I'm so hard on this is because I've seen all the shows. I've seen all the earlier Star Trek shows. I know the lore. I've seen other TV this year that I think is better. I mean. I don't watch nearly as much TV as you guys or Prophet or the White Cloaks. They watch a shit ton more TV. They could tell you more about writing inconsistency than I can. But like I've watched Stranger Things, Better Call Saul, the Orville, the latest Orville season, which
isn't it just embarrassing that the Orville is the best Star Trek that has ever happened since Enterprise?
That's correct. I mean,
It's
and I had issues with season 3.
It's so good.
Yeah, I had issues with season 3. Like there were some really dumb things that they did, but that's ideologically. That's and of course, it's Seth MacFarlane. We all know his political leanings. But like they're used.
I know what you're referring to. I know what you're referring to.
Episode 4.
Yeah, but I will commend him in that he jumbled up the politics.
He did.
So that it wasn't like a one-to-one comparison, and so no one could really complain. And I gotta respect that. Like you want to, and that kind of that felt like old Star Trek to me. And that hey, we're going to talk about a philosophical issue, and I'm going to make it impossible for anyone to criticize it because I mixed them up. I mixed up the two parties, guys.
What's funny is I think they accidentally did the opposite of what they intended.
Yes,
with the, because
they
a certain word that starts with a T and then ends in rands. I'm not going to say what. Well, they pulled the opposite in the Orville. They pulled the opposite story, or they pulled the opposite message.
That's one of my favorite storylines. It's actually done really well.
Like, About a Girl is about them forcing a change in an infant.
Yeah.
And then season 3, they undid that. So I know some people might complain about that, and I get it, but they undid that change. That's why I didn't have an issue with that particular episode. I think it was episode 6 or 7.
Well, even when it's in the first episode, like they're talking about how the ramifications of that decision, and most people are not on board with it. And I'm like, really? They're doing this?
And then the other issue, and this was in episode 4, and I thought I loved what they did actually. So the Krill have this punishment for what people do if they do stuff to their offspring.
Uh-huh.
And so they have a hologram of what the kid would look like, and the kid would be like, "Why did you do this to me?" I thought that was brilliant. And I liked how Seth MacFarlane's character reacts, like, "Who wants to live in a world like this?" I would. I'd rather. I mean, that's to me, that's right. I'm not, ideologically, you might disagree. I'm respect that, but that was another instance of where the message kind of went in reverse there. So, but like I mean, the Star Wars aspect of the penultimate episode of the Orville, I think did better than Picard's final episode. So like the original, so Orville did the A New Hope kind of attack run, on the Mocklin planet, I believe. Yeah. They're trying to take out that facility, whereas the Picard tried to be like Return of the Jedi. So I mean, I jokingly call season 3 Star Wars Picard because of that. I mean, they literally go into the heart of the Borg Death Star, take out the green thing, the green
ball.
What do you call that? The antenna, the green antenna, the green,
which is just it's rigged up to blow up the whole thing. Hey,
and then
let's take the one thing that even Star Wars fans complain about, and let's not fix it.
And then and then of course as the Borg cube the Borg
blown up
vessel is blown up, the TNG, the Enterprise.
They hover right over the middle of the. I know where he is. Silly.
So I mean, a lot of people really enjoyed it. I got into several Twitter arguments. I actually got into a big spat with Dave Blast, the production designer of Picard, on Twitter. Because he actually went through my tweets. And created an image of all everything I've been saying about. It's like, oh, you've been repeating yourself. Like I just went off and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, act professional. I'm a fan. I was a Star Trek fan.
I know.
I'm a customer. I'm watching I'm not a consumer. I'm a customer. I'm paying for your shit.
That kind of passion in a fan base is what you should be aspiring to.
Yeah, and then of course because Dave Blass has a whole bunch of people
You
following.
want people to like dissect everything you do and get nitpicky. It's because they like it.
Let's just say I think I could have handled things differently, but I got completely. What do you call where you get attacked on Twitter, like by a bunch of people, mobbed or something?
Like
that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me.
Bombarding or.
Yeah. Alex from White Cloaks actually was fighting for my honor. Like
brigadiering is what they'd say on
brigading.
Reddit.
Okay, brigading. Okay, brigading. That's what it is. Yeah. So it was just it got ridiculous. So that soured my that soured my thing too. But I can't rewatch the show now. Like after they could have just instead of having a mystery. Just do a prologue like Lord of the Rings. Just tell a story. Just tell a story from beginning to end. And try to connect as much as you can with the earlier stuff. Create new villains. Either create new villains. That could have worked if these enemies, these guys that boarded Beverly's ship were original villains. That could have worked. They're using the phaser. They're using phaser rifles. That would have worked. Shapeshifters don't use phasers. I mean, that's a Deep Space. I know not everybody watches Deep Space Nine, but that's a Deep Space Nine thing.
Yeah.
If they wanted to kill Beverly, all they got to do is turn into puddles of goo, travel on the floor, materialize right behind her, and use one of their tentacle arms and kill her.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they had to do to kill her. They didn't have to go into this pew pew firefight like that completely kills verisimilitude like that. And that's something Robert Meyer Burnett always talks about is verisimilitude. So him praising this series has been very disappointing.
Yeah, I think a lot of the famous YouTubers who were praising the show, I think it was a symptom of, because I didn't hate it, I didn't love it.
Yeah,
I think it was just a symptom of, because a lot of us stopped watching Discovery, right? Or stopped watching all these other shows, and they've kept watching to review things. So I can understand how season 3, after having to review all of the other things, would be a breath of fresh air if you hadn't already given up on Star Trek.
Yeah. So but a lot of people liked the fact that the TNG crew came back. I mean, that was the breath of fresh air. I didn't feel that way based on how they acted. Like the example of Riker before and Beverly and all that and Picard, but that's beside the point. But people like that. People like the fact that the story wasn't the word that rhymes with bloke.
I did like 1899. Sue me.
That got canceled, I believe, didn't it?
Yeah,
it's a shame because
that's funny. Dark was for good, man.
I still have to finish. I never finished Dark.
Oh,
I got so into season 1, and then it took like 2 to 3 years for them to come out with season 2. I watched season 2. I still haven't gotten around to watching the final season.
It's nuts. It's so good.
Oh, I know. I didn't watch 1899, but I watched 1883.
1899 wasn't as good. You could tell they were kind of setting up something a little bit longer. So like it felt like stuff that would get paid off later, and then it got canceled. Yeah. So season 1 wasn't super satisfying. I still enjoyed season 1, but
yeah.
Different strokes for different folks.
What you talking about, Mark?
Everything I love gets canceled. Yeah, 1899, Raised by Wolves.
I did not. I always was, especially back in the day, I was always hesitant to start watching new shows as they came out because of the fact that they could get canceled at any point in time.
But I made exceptions for see, my biggest problem is when I understand if a show gets canceled, it's a bummer, right? But
yeah,
I hate it when they don't know where they're going, right? And that's when shows suck, when they Star, the new the sequel trilogy, right? They don't have a plan, they're just flying by the seat of the pants. But 1899, like the showrunners came out, they've got a great track record with Dark. You'd think they had a great relationship with Netflix, and they came out and said, we already have the whole story, we know where it's going, we're planning on 3 or 4 seasons maybe, but so they're writing it knowing where the ending is going. And the same with Raised by Wolves. The dude repeatedly said Like, I'm not just introducing weird stuff for the sake of it. Like, this is all going somewhere. The ending is already there.
Yeah.
It gets.
There was one show I watched.
I blame that one on the merger.
There was one show. There's only one show I've ever watched from start to finish that aired on TV. You know what that was? Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul.
One show. I've seen I've never seen a Star Trek show in its entirety. Voyager, I watched 4 seasons in, starting season 4 actually. 24, another series. I started watching season 4. You ever watch 24 back in the day?
I never gotten into 24.
You sound like one of our subs, Mark Clark. You just start in the middle.
Yeah. Well, luckily they had DVDs, so I was able to watch my friend's DVDs, and so that's when I got. That's how I got into 24, and then I started watching it. Once it started airing, and don't regret it.
The ending of Better Call Saul is. I was weeping.
I need to actually catch up on that because I watched. We caught up on Breaking Bad, and then we watched the first 3 or 4 seasons of Better Call Saul. And
Better
then
Call
it was
Saul
taking a long time before it got onto Netflix. We were like, oh no, and then we tried to get onto it when the one season. I think how many seasons total? Is it up 6 or 5?
6.
6. So when season 5 finally got onto Netflix, we were like, cool, let's pick up. And we're like, oh my goodness, I can't remember anything that was just happening. We need to start back over. Let's wait until season 6 comes out, and then we'll watch all of that. and so we're working on it. But
Better Call Saul was just an improvement on Breaking Bad in every single way, which is
Breaking
shocking.
Bad was solid too.
It's a spin-off prequel sequel with a side character that it doesn't make sense that he would be the main character of a show,
and yet it's
perfect.
It is. Yeah. I got really excited when I heard about. So I watched Breaking Bad after the series ended. I binged it on Netflix. I was like, I was telling myself, I thought it was just one of those shows I just couldn't get into. I watched it. Holy shit, I got into it. Like, this was at the end of episode 2, of Breaking Bad season 1. I was like, okay, I gotta keep watching this. This is nuts. When the bathtub, when he pours the chemical trying to dissolve the guy in the bathtub, and it goes all over the place, and they're like. I was like, oh, I have to keep watching this. It was so ridiculous. And they got better and better and better. And I was happy with the ending. I think they landed. I think I thought it was a great. I thought the ending,
which is
the ending well.
Really tough thing to do because your story's about a bad guy. So and so many shows suffer with like, oh no, it's okay, they're gonna win at the end. We're gonna make them sympathetic, and you're like. You do want catharsis with the main character at least achieving something.
Yes.
But you don't want him to win, and it's what
I wanted him to do, I wanted him to be able to accomplish what he originally set out to do, and that was to provide for his family. And that's what he did. I mean, he lost a bunch of shit. He dies, and I feel he
did all the wrong things for the right reason. So you want the right thing to come out of him, but him still suffer the consequences of all the wrong things that he did.
Yeah,
that's what made it such a good morality take. Is that he's not a good guy, and at the end he recognizes that.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and recognizes that at some point along the way, probably around season 3, he stopped doing it for his family, and started doing it for himself. I am the one who knocks.
It was before this point, but the point that was the real point of no return, especially for my wife, was when he watches Jessica Jones die, whatever her name.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Kristen Ritter. Yeah,
that is the turning point in the show.
That is when Heisenberg truly takes over.
I guess I could believe that. I loved. You know who was in that season? You know who her father was? John Delancey. Q.
He was really good.
Yeah. I remember that. I do remember recognizing
he was the air traffic control guy, and because he went back to work right away after she dies. Let's just say he made some.
That season was just like, holy cow, what is going? And the way they teased that through, because that's the way that them play. That at least what I've seen so far of Better Call Saul, how they play with that whole idea of here's this inciting incident, and you're getting little clips of it at the beginning of each episode.
That is a good. That's how you do a mystery box. Okay.
Yeah.
A mystery box isn't a bad thing if what's inside the box is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. But yeah, see, what the heck? You're watching the show. Why is there a bunny floating in a pool? And then you're like,
that's what it was.
Oh man, some of those other reveals, like the little bits that you get with the flower and all that.
The flower, dude. I was just like, whoa. I was like, whoa, they went there. They went there with him. I won't say what it is, but I was like, dude.
And we're trying not. I feel like we've been pretty good dancing around Breaking Bad spoilers, but if you haven't watched Breaking Bad yet, it's kind of your fault.
Well, Breaking Bad at this point,
okay,
you don't have a whole lot of excuses. But
I like
Mark Clark. I'd have expected you to have seen like seasons 3 and 5 of Better Call Saul. Come on. You're not living up to your name.
If you haven't seen Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, you're in for a treat. It's a hell of a ride. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's really good. Like, it's better, in my opinion. I got into it easier than getting into HBO stuff. Now I'm currently trying to watch The Wire. The series
I've heard
The
that's
Wire.
really good too. Yeah,
it's good, but it's hard to get into. Like, I'm trying to understand what they're talking about. Like, it's like you're actually in the police force. You're in the detail, and they're talking all these terms. I'm like, what are they talking about? So. And I've seen police dramas. I've seen Dirty Harry. I've seen frickin' French Connection. By the way, buy the Blu-ray for French Connection because they cut out a scene where Gene Hackman says something problematic.
I tried to get my wife to watch the French Connection because I haven't seen it yet, and she got bored, and I was like, well, okay.
How can you get that movie? Like, things are going on left and right. Jeez, like there's an awesome chase in the French.
Yeah, Connection. I know it's the most famous car chase scene of all time.
Yes, it just for that alone, it makes the movie awesome. But it doesn't end the way you think it ends. It's based off of a true story. It's based off of a real case. So, but yeah, but I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm watching that. The Wire. I'm watching an anime. I don't know how big you guys are into anime.
I enjoyed some here and there, but
yeah, I've
good ones.
I've dipped my toes in anime. It's not my preferred medium. I don't dislike it. I don't judge people who enjoy it. Some people watch a little bit too much anime, but there's some really good stuff. So I'm just dismissing it offhand is silly, but there's also an extent where.
So part of the reason why I'm so critical of modern entertainment is, I mean, especially modern science fiction,
because manga's on fire right now. Yeah,
manga's on fire. And I'm watching a series. I'm watching a series that came out in the 80s and 90s in Japan. It's called Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It's an epic space opera. Basically, two sides are fighting an interstellar war for 150 years. You have the Empire, the autocratic side. And they're based off of the German Empire. So you're seeing like World War I or pre-World War I era, architecture, outfits. They play classical music. They play Beethoven, Bach. They play all the greats as a soundtrack for the series. And there's a lot of political maneuvering and a lot of there's obviously a lot of strategy in regards to space battles, especially fleet battles in particular. But there's some Star Wars elements. You do see fighters. You do see individual fighters going into dogfights, but that's not really the main focus. But it's about an empire versus an alliance, a Republican alliance. So more the Democratic side. So imagine an autocratic side that that has their shit together, but at the same time, not as cruel, as oppressive dictatorship or monarchy, whatever. Like the leader of the empire is literally a Kaiser. They call him the Kaiser, and they use a lot of German names. The protagonist on that side of the wars, his name is Reinhard. And then the other side, you have another protagonist. So there's two protagonists in the series, and they're both. The story is told like a historical chronicle. So there's narration really cool. And there's major events that these two characters shape. And they change. They start off as regular commanders, but then they rise into the ranks to the point where they are driving the future of humanity. This is humanity way into the future. They have left the cradle of Earth. I'll say this. And there's the two worlds. There's the two worlds fighting each other. Democratic republicanism versus an imperial monarchy or dictatorship or whatever you want to call it. So what would you prefer? Would you prefer an extremely corrupt and incompetent democratic government or a benevolent or slightly benevolent dictatorship? That's the questions that this show provides. So there's a lot of allegory. And there's a lot of gravitas. Like this is not your typical anime. This is adapted from 10 books that was written by a professor of literature at I'm not sure if it's the Nihon University, but it's
what's it called again?
It's called Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and they are currently in the process of remaking it, and it looks awful in terms of the character designs and all that. I suggest watching the original 1989-1990 OVA. It's 110 episodes, nobody is safe. There's an insane amount of characters, and nobody is safe. Nobody. And cool. There's points where it gets super duper violent. Like there's melee. Like they have the ability to render ray guns useless. So you're seeing a lot of people going in attacking with axes and swords and stuff. And there's a lot of blood. There's gore. There's not gore in every episode, but when there is, it's there.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, and yeah, I know that like
I'm watching
right now is just selling like crazy because of how garbage Western entertainment has become.
Yeah, the series that I'm talking about came out limited in a limited bunch on Blu-ray. I paid $800 for it, and I was asking myself, do I want this series for $800? And I was like, yes. That's how good this series is.
I was trying to find a physical copy of the animated Redwall TV show, and I'm like, "Oh dang! This is going to cost me a lot of money. This is going to cost me a lot of money
for the TV show." But I loved those books.
Yeah.
So just to kind of go really quickly, if you're interested, the books are available on Amazon. They were translated, all 10 books, and if you want to watch the original anime, it's on High Dive. By normal means. If there's other means, well, a Nerporeal might be able to help in that regard.
I think it's also on Crunchyroll.
The remake is.
Oh, it's already being remade.
It's remade and it looks like your typical anime. It's like it doesn't have the gravitas of the original series. They don't use the classical music. They don't play Bach, Beethoven, Haydn, all the Mozart, all the greats. They don't play that, and the character designs just look very pedestrian. Mark Clark says, what was it called again? Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
I got it.
Legend of the Galactic Heroes. That's what I'm currently watching. I'm already skimming. I'm going through it. I'm watching that more than I'm watching anything else right now. I'm already on episode 20.
Sounds super cool.
It's if you like space opera and you like period pieces, like especially the Empire side, it looks a little bit like War and Peace a little bit.
Okay. I've got a suggestion for you then. One of my favorite animes is not a lot of people have heard of. It's just a limited series called Noir.
I've seen it. I own it.
You seen it?
Yep.
It's freaking good,
awesome.
Right?
It is. The two lady assassins.
No one's heard of this show, man.
It came out. A friend of mine told me about it. It was the first anime I ever owned. I bought the DVDs, the ADV film.
I thought I had a
back
deep
in
cut.
2005.
I thought I had a deep cut.
Weak cut.
Like
I gotta say, sometimes I still think about, like, this is ingrained in my memory, the scene where that thug comes up behind the chick and she grabs his sunglasses and snaps them, and then I'm like,
yeah,
oh yeah, go.
She took his tie. She somehow
tied
him.
Yeah. Well, that was a different
fell off of a platform and strangled him by just jumping off a platform, holding onto his tie. Like, and they showed it in silhouette, and it was just, oh my god, this was episode 1.
The fight scenes are just.
Oh yeah, and like you know how like people complain now how like women could beat men up really easily. The stuff in noir is believable.
It's like film noir, but just noir.
Yeah, I love the music. Yeah, they
go it's good. Yeah,
and then they play that the noir thing whenever they fight and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little bit of a mystery box there too. Like we see, she hears the main character hears a music box that reminds her of something bad that happened a long time ago, and we see a glimpse of it, but we don't quite get we don't know the context until further down. So that's how you do mystery.
Yeah, it's also how you do strong female characters.
Yes, I loved how like in the beginning, like the main character is like the Japanese girl who is way better at killing than the French girl or the Corsican girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's the Corsican girl is like, once we're done with this business, I'm going to kill you because I don't want anyone to know who I am, or because that's the assassin.
Yeah,
and then the Japanese girl is just like, whatever, I don't care, because she has amnesia, so we're trying to rebuild or trying to remember what she's capable of, and let's just say she's capable quite a bit.
It's also a very approachable because it's not very long.
It's 26 episodes.
Yeah.
So
bad, if you want like a, I'm gonna dip my toes in for a bit, noir, baby.
Yeah,
I'm super happy you've heard of it. I'm also disappointed that you've heard of it.
I haven't seen, like, it was part of there was another series. There's a sister series by the same people. It's called Madlax. Have you heard of Madlax?
No, spell it.
Madlax. It's made by the same people, but it's a totally different tone. It's more comedic. Whereas
Okay,
noir was very
it's definitely the same people. It's definitely the
action.
same people, and I'm definitely gonna watch it now.
Definitely, yeah. It's a comedy as opposed to noir. So
right.
I still haven't watched that one myself. I borrowed my friend's DVDs and I never got around to watching it. But yeah, I have it like all on the top of my shelves right here. Legend of Galactic Heroes is what I'm pointing at right now, and then you got all this Yu Yu Hakusho. You can see the main character there. All that right here is Gundam, and then there's more anime there. I think Cowboy Bebop is somewhere. Do not watch the Netflix show. Watch the anime. Anime is excellent.
I've got a deeper cut. The Dragon Ball.
I love Dragon Ball. The original Dragon Ball, I think, is better than Z. In my opinion.
I could never get into Dragon Ball because the build up is just too much for me.
The build up, the character arc of Goku,
their attacks for a million years. It
gets a little boring. Goku's character arc in Dragon Ball is excellent.
Yeah.
He learns everything that he achieves at the end feels earned. Compared to Z, where he's just, because he's a Saiyan, he can just keep leveling up to 9,000 and beyond,
Over 9,000?
Over 9,000. And now if you've seen Super, he's got like, I forget what they call hyper awareness or something, or I forgot what that final attack was. It's a great, but the end of Super, Dragon Ball Super is awesome though. The fight at the end is insane.
Odd connection, but my brain just jumped to. So right now, I've been reading Alan Warbreaker with my wife. I've been reading it to her so that she can actually read it. And we're just getting to the part where they're talking about the God King having over 10,000 breaths. It's like, oh, over 9,000, leveling up the abilities.
Yeah. We have we have a segment on the show that's called Screen Rants Bad Takes.
Oh God!
We still have something else we're doing.
Which we're probably going to have to cut a lot of because we've been going for 3 hours now.
Yeah,
but
I imagine one, especially with David having dropped off, we probably ought to do the rest of the Matt Johnson stuff another time.
There's one specifically that I want you to see. It started off just making fun of Screen Rant. Angry Max is back, but it quickly branched out to like also bad takes on Twitter. But it's still called Screen Rants Bad Takes in honor of Screen Rants. So can I show you one of the worst takes I've ever seen in my life?
Let's go.
This is going to be a rerun because we saw this one a couple weeks ago, but it's so offensive. I want you to see it. But I got to do the stinger because I'm proud of it.
Screen Rants. Bad takes.
You cannot separate Star Trek from sex. You cannot separate Star Trek from queer sex. That alone should end the Trek versus Star Wars debate, because we have a clear winner here, folks. Would you rather watch some incels fling laser swords around or get the pussy tingles?
This person's from Screen Rant?
No, this is just a bad take on Twitter.
Oh, I've seen this.
You have? Okay.
I have.
I'm not
I
surprised.
you know what I do? Dismiss.
It's so funny though.
It is hilarious. It is like mind blowing.
It's one of the worst ones I've seen. There was also a really funny Wheel of Time take that I found this week, which just it's just dumb, and I could go through and refute like every single one of these points, specifically like Rand is not gay, but these are the kind of people that are fans of the TV show, and I hate them.
That what TV show? I'm still waiting for a good adaptation of the Wheel of Time. I don't know what this is. What are we talking about? I don't see anything on the screen. What are we looking at? We're not looking at anything.
It's Amazon. Amazon doing Amazon.
But yeah, I might not do. Probably not going to do all of these because we've been going for a long time. But we do have to do one from Screen Rant because this one just confused me. The new Firefly series brings the show back to its Western roots.
Oh my god!
Because they're doing a limited run comic book about Firefly with like 3 issues.
Yeah.
But it's the title like that really confuses me. What about this means the show is being taken back to its roots?
It makes it sound like it somehow drifted away from its Western roots, but it never did.
That's another question. When did the show drift in the one season it had and the movie spin-off finale? When did the show veer from its Western roots?
I guess maybe almost you could say in the movie, because that swung a lot more sci-fi than the rest of the series had been, but
it was good. I liked the movie.
It was still awesome. It was still amazing, but it wasn't as Westerny.
I'm just so confused. Like, here,
I'm trying to come up with things. You know,
this is what you should be saying. Hey, they're making a Firefly comic book. That's the news. That's the news article.
There's also
I don't know what this is.
Was there any Eastern influence? Because like you look at that, you're not sure if they're talking about like the genre Western or if they're talking about like Western, like compared to.
They don't explain it. They don't explain what they're talking about.
Except
context
there's
is
a lot of Eastern influence in Firefly itself too, because
the article, the actual context of the article is just saying, "Hey, there's a comic book."
Comic, yeah. I need to talk to David about if he took a look into that. There's a Kickstarter for like a new reprint or all combined version of a Firefly board game. Might be kind of interesting.
Yeah, but this is why I hate Screen Rant. So
yeah.
Anyway, there's more, but we don't have to do
it. They did. I don't even think they've read they haven't even watched the Wheel of Time series on Amazon. Like they're making mistakes, and like I was looking at an article where they were talking about like what's going to be in season 2, and they said that Berlan was in season 1. I'm like, no, it wasn't. You clearly have not watched the show. You might have read the books, but you haven't watched the show.
Okay, this one's too good to skip. There's one more. Eurogamer and Kotaku Reviews accuse Final Fantasy 16 of lacking diversity and complain about its overwhelming whiteness.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I've heard nothing but praise.
Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy is Japanese.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've never.
And all of the Final Fantasies have had what you could argue would be very whitewashed looking Japanese characters, but they're still Japanese. Like, I don't know. That's a weird criticism.
They don't consider Asians. Yeah, they don't consider Asians people of color. They think that the Asians are white for some reason. When they's like, what?
Well, I mean, if you pay attention to how certain universities treat that demographic, it's true.
Exactly.
I've heard nothing but praise. Like, people are telling me, go and get Final Fantasy 16. The problem is I'm still stuck playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And that game feels like it'll never end, because it just keeps, it's like freaking Elden Ring. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm not even a fan of those Zelda open worlds. I like the older Zeldas.
Me too.
They
I
had
like
dungeons and linear storytelling. That's the Zelda I like. So
Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
I may or may not have done a 5-hour retrospective on Ocarina of Time.
I gotta watch that, bro. I gotta watch that because I love that game. I mean, while growing up, I haven't played it recently.
If you type Nerdporial and Ocarina of Time, you'll find that it's 5 hours. So
I saw that video and I was like, I don't have 5 hours on me right now.
I mean, I haven't
probably come back to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically 3 parts, and I just
nice.
I put them together for a final video for. So I actually initially released them part 1, part 2, and part 3. Through Triforce, get it. And now with the Mario RPG news, my Mario RPG retrospective is also getting some traction too. So.
Nice.
I just can't stand listening to the sound of my voice. That's why I can't listen to my own videos.
It happens, bro. It happens. Yeah, trust me. When I started, I was like, my English was really bad, so I was like struggling listening to myself. Like, I thought that I didn't have an accent until I listened to myself speak English. I was like, oh my god, I do have an accent. Yeah.
I've recently been getting together with a group of Mexican and Hispanic people that playing volleyball, and boy, I'm like, my Spanish is rough. Trying to figure out how. I'm like, wait, how the heck do I say this? I'm like, especially because like playing sports, you always like just throw out little like, oh yeah, hey, good job, like whatever. And so I'm like, wait, what did you say? I didn't catch that. What? Oh no, you just said good job. Oh yeah, I didn't catch that because it sounded like what? It's like what?
Yeah, you can always scream at the "Órale!"
Órale! So the other day, anyway, never mind. We can wrap things up. It's fun stuff though.
Teo's back in the chat and asking what he missed. We just finished talking about Star Trek and then anime for some reason, and then we did like 2 bad takes because we've been going for so long.
Yeah, don't worry, Teo. I was all as well out of the stream a little bit.
Thank you so much, Nerdporial, for coming on the show and sharing your Trek knowledge with us.
Thanks for having me. I wasn't sure how you guys were going to feel about that. Felt like it felt pretty good to kind of get more of this off my chest and everything. Hopefully I'll never have to talk about this again. I probably should make a video with all the points that I made and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta do that, bro, because they were good points. I mean, my knowledge of Star Trek is just little, but still were good points.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Don't you worry. If you miss Star Trek, you can like it was like 1 hour.
Stuff.
Yeah, you started like 1 hour. Yeah,
I'm all there, right there.
Nice.
I started watching TNG from the beginning, and it got removed from whatever service I was watching it from, and so I'm like, I need to go back.
Because Paramount Plus is greedy. They want their service to be exclusively Star Trek. That's why it was on every. They were all on Netflix, Amazon, Hulu.
Yeah.
They were all.
They were on HBO too for a while.
But it kind of makes sense. Like, that's the thing. Everything else does that too. Disney's only got Disney stuff on Disney, basically. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Paramount is like, come on, Paramount. Why are you like, I know you have little things and you usually do the drag shows and whatever in your platform. But come on, like why still Star Trek from all of us? It's like I'm not gonna get
and
a
that's
Paramount
one of
Plus.
those. That's one of the things that for me. So I watched Robert Meyer Burnett with John Campea, a bunch of things like that. And even though I'm not a big physical media collector, like that's one of those big things that I think Robert's really got it down. If there's something you really want to be able to watch, get it physical, because that's the way you guarantee you're going to have it no matter what. No matter if you have internet access, no matter if you have like where you're at, you have your discs that you can put in.
And you never know when it's going to be retroactively censored. So
like,
and
like the French Connection. Get the French Connection.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, the other thing that you could do, honestly, like if you want a digital thing, kind of like that, one of the advantages of it, if you get like a digital download, like get a terabyte hard drive or something like that, and stick all of your movies on there, and then hey, you're hanging out all right because you've got them all sitting there. At the very least, you have them. You have your control over them.
I couldn't use my. I'm trying to learn how to do a digital download. It'll only download to like a particular like iTunes
service.
I can't download it directly. Directly to my.
That makes sense. I've got a buddy who
because they want it to be DRM. They want a DRM.
Less than legal, but yeah, he definitely has done that. So I've seen people do it, but again, probably a lot of that has to do with doing things in a not quite legal way.
Yeah, because I wanted for the special edition, or not the director's edition of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Like,
how did you like that, by the way? Because I remember Robert Meyer Burnett saying that he loved the director's take on that.
Oh, I saw in the theater. I am totally. I disagree with him about Picard season 3, but I am totally with him about Motion Picture. That movie, and it's like 2001. It's a visual eye candy fest. There's not as much dialogue.
And the cut is different.
It's basically they redid the visuals of the DVD. So they initially released the director's version on DVD. So the theatrical version of Motion Picture wasn't complete. They didn't complete all the effects. So it wasn't complete. It's not the definitive version. The definitive version is the director's edition, and that's in the current 4K. Like if you buy the 4K set, it's part of the 4K site, so you can get the theatrical and the director's version. But the director's version is a little bit longer. There's more scenes, and the visuals are better. And plus, there's some early 2000s CGI that actually looks really good. And seeing that movie in the theater, 1979 is when Motion Picture came out. I wasn't born yet.
Right.
Seeing that movie and The Wrath of Khan in the theater, dude, it's magic.
I bet.
I can't imagine, bro. In Mexico, like we didn't even got the prequels, like not the prequels, the original trilogy for Star Wars. Like we like in Mexico, they won't play those. Like never in open like channels or any in TV. They never show it. I don't know why. So I never had a chance to watch Star Wars until I watched it in like this car cinema, like this vintage car cinema, and I just watched the whole original trilogy in my friend's car, and that was so awesome. That was so awesome.
Drive-in theater,
drive-in theater, drive-in theater. That was so awesome.
For when Rise of Skywalker came out, I went to the marathon that they had in our area. So like, the sequel trilogy has all of its own problems, but
did you hear
it was great to be able to be in the theater for literally 24 hours and watch all of them. Yeah,
somehow.
Somehow Palpatine returned. What?
Somehow Palpatine returned. I was like, yes, somehow indeed.
Somehow, yeah.
Do you want to hear something incredibly depressing? I've told the story on this show before, but you haven't heard it in Corporeal. Growing up, we owned the original, Star Trek trilogy on VHS, like just super, like the gold box ones.
Star Trek's 2, 3, and 4.
Sorry. Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars episode 4, 5, and 6.
4,
well,
5,
especially with Picard season 3, I think you were right saying Star Wars Picard. You should just say Star Wars Picard. No, I'm kidding.
It was a box set, and they were like golden VHSs, and when they were released on DVD, my dad bought those and sold the VHSs, not knowing that
they were special editions,
that they were
So
compromised. That's gone. It's gone forever.
It's the same with. So I didn't see the special editions. I saw the original versions. They released.
So did I.
They released the original versions in the mid '90s. I think it was '95. I was a kid. I was getting into this. The reason why I got into Star Trek was because I got into Star Wars first. I got into the original. I was watching the original trilogy. They came out with the on VHS. The last time they ever released the original versions of Star Wars. And what's funny is usually when they have, because these VHSs have like trailers showing, the movies and then telling you got to buy this before it's no longer ever available ever again. What's funny is that was correct. That was correct. Like this is the last time you could buy the original version of Star Wars. I didn't think about it, but it's true. And then of course they showed Larry Malton's interview with George Lucas. I learned who George Lucas was watching those. And then just watching, we had the tapes. The problem was
they could make so much money if they sold the original cuts.
Yeah. So you know what's funny? My third video I have ever made for my channel was me trying to recreate that original Star Wars trailer, the VHS trailer that is in the beginning of the three movies. I tried to recreate that for the Star Trek movies. I created my own version, but with the six original Star Trek movies. I call it the Star Trek VHS trailer, and I use almost the same dialogue as the narrator. I just don't have that gravelly voice like the narrator. You know those '90s trailers. I can't quite get exactly. For those who remember, for those who will never forget. These, and I just changed it to make it suit Star Trek. So instead of talking about Star Wars, I talk about instead of the war continues, I say the adventure continues. Stuff like that. But yeah, it was stuff like that that made me create the channel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I'm super glad you came on the show. I think it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and if you're not subscribed to Nerdporial,
go and do it.
I may or may not have a channel. I may or may not have done videos on Star Trek. I may or may not have done video game retrospectives, TV movie retrospectives.
I'm right now literally going to look for the channel and subscribe.
Thank you. So yeah, my current project that I've been really lazy about. I'm doing a retrospective on the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Nice.
And that's Stanley Kubrick, and that's going to be a tough one.
Right, really hard. Yeah. Nerdporial Lifeform. Nice.
Great movie though.
Oh yeah, I saw your reaction to the. Oh yeah. I actually saw the reaction to the Nintendo Direct. YouTube just recommended me randomly, and I was like, okay, I want to watch a reaction to the Nintendo Direct. Yeah.
I'm probably I reacted. I reacted to Mario RPG. I'm like, what is this? Like, no way. I'm like, no effing way. So yeah.
I remember. Nice, brother. I'm going to watch that breakdown of Ocarina of Time because I really want to get back into the game to see if it aged well.
It's also, it's also my way of retelling the story. So if you have no time to play the game, you could watch my video and you'll get the entire
Hey,
story.
that's actually way better. Yeah, too. Because playing the game is takes a lot of time. But I prefer for you to narrate it. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. It's been a blast. Love to have you on again if we're ever talking about something that you've actually seen.
Well, I was going to ask what, like, with modern stuff, like I talked to Prophet, I talked to White Cloaks, Pips in particular. Yeah. But is there any shows or anything you guys recommend that I check out?
I can.
Everything I recommend gets canceled. You don't want
to. There's a show.
Keep your mouth shut, Alan. Don't recommend.
There's a show in Netflix.
They get canceled.
That is called Bloodhounds.
Bloodhounds.
Bloodhounds. It's a Korean one. Yeah. Just literally watch the first episode. It's a little bit slow, but the later you get into the episode, it gets crazy. And the ending of that episode, my God, if you like action type of like martial arts type of movies and shows, this is like one of the best that I've seen in a long time. And the story, it just gets so good, and the spoilers, like the reveals during the show, they're like Jesus, heartbreaking. Yeah, it's a great show. It's one of those shows that really made me feel.
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah.
Bloodhounds. Okay. Bloodhounds. Korean. Okay.
I just watched literally the first episode and the first 50 minutes of the second one. and you're gonna be sold. Literally.
I mean, I did watch what's that one show with the where everybody's killing each other? Squid Game. The Squid Game, right? Yeah. That actually was. I actually thought it was pretty good. I got Battle Royale vibes. I don't know if you guys ever seen the original Battle Royale, the Japanese Battle Royale.
It's really
film.
good. It's really good. Yeah.
Well, it was clearly an homage to that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I do prefer the original Battle Royale. I'm not gonna lie. And the comic. I mean the manga is way better.
I haven't read the manga, so I think the movie's an adaptation of the manga.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it's a great adaptation in my
it's a book.
in my opinion.
It's a novel. I forgot it's a novel.
A novel. A graphic novel. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's also a regular novel too. Not just a graphic novel.
Nice.
And of course, Hunger Games copied that.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
Not that far off. Yeah.
I love the Hunger Games, bro. I loved it. I
never
mean,
watched
probably
them.
nowadays it's really bad, but back in the day, I used to be like a fan.
I never loved the Hunger Games. I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, I was 15 when the first book came out, and I was like I just read Twilight, and I was like, okay, I need a palate cleanser, and then I do believe that that Juegos del Hambre, Hunger Games is way better than Twilight.
Yeah, it's better.
I heard like they're related, like or maybe no. I'm sorry, Twilight and Twilight and this other shit called 50 Shades. That's what they're related.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are.
It started out as a fanfic of Twilight.
Yeah,
it started as it. Yeah, yes.
That's so stupid. Sorry.
Yep. Well,
I heard Silo's really good.
I suggest Alan recommend the MCU. No.
Well, he's saying that so that it will get canceled.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Go watch the
Phase
MCU. Go watch.
I am out. I've been out of the MCU since Spider-Man. I liked Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man?
Yeah, it was which one?
No Way Home.
Oh yeah.
Because there was actually weight and there were stakes in that movie, and you needed to bring back a villain from 20 years ago, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, to create that sense of stakes. I'm like, can't you morons create better villains? Like seriously, instead of bringing back.
So we're bringing in real life villains, but we'll see.
Yeah, that movie was so annoying for me because it was so dumb, but people seem to love it just because, and people pretending that it was a good movie, but no, people love it because of the 3 Spider-Mans. That's it, literally.
Yeah, that's a big part of the reason I loved it. I mean, I thought there was a lot of good stuff in there, but the 3 Spider-Man.
You didn't like it? You didn't like it at all?
I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I've said this before, but I think the movie is enjoyable just because of the performances of the Spider-Men.
Exactly.
The plot is retarded. The action is very stale. The setup is terrible, and
you didn't like the action. Like I liked it.
I thought the action was just incredibly bland. It was everything that's wrong with Marvel action. Like it was just static. Hey, we're gonna.
I liked
there wasn't a creative fight scene.
I liked the fight in the apartment where he was getting his butt kicked to the point where.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Where like there's a game changing moment that happens for, young Tom Holland. Like he loses somebody important to him, kind of obviously mirroring a certain uncle forget his name. How could
for me it was I don't know. For me it was really dumb that the whole thing about
I didn't like that.
The power comes all the responsibility, and I was okay. She's about to die.
Well, she gives the speech, so of course she's gonna die. Yeah. The only I don't know. We could go into it, but yeah.
But that was like the one Marvel thing that I actually enjoyed. Like I actually was paying attention. Like I didn't just look at my phone. Even Endgame, I was looking at my phone part of the time. So
the middle part, the fluff,
Infinity War, I liked Infinity War though.
Infinity War, so awesome,
had so much space.
I went into it thinking I was going to hate Spider-Man. I enjoyed it. but I wasn't wrong for the reason. It's like everything
That
I
you
thought I
didn't-
was going to hate was still in the movie.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it in spite of its flaws.
Yeah, I watched that movie. I didn't even see like Picard season 2. I didn't watch the second Tom Holland Spider-Man. So I kind of went in blind right there. So and I still somehow managed to enjoy it. Maybe it's because I didn't see that second movie that I enjoyed it more.
Probably yes. Probably
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, because the second movie is I don't know, not that good. The first movie I didn't like it at all. The third movie, obviously the better, but not for the right reasons. And I don't know. It just got me so riled up when I was in the movie theater watching the whole debacle of the of the Hollands. I mean of the Spider-Mans, and I was like, they really couldn't find a better a better setup than this ridiculous scene with the grandma. Like that scene almost made me lose some brain cells, to be honest. Yeah, but the rest of the movie, in my opinion, the rest of the movie was really good for what it was. Yeah.
Okay. I'm I'm completely checked out of like superhero movies. And like
True.
I am not interested. I don't have faith that they're going to make a good like back in the day. I used to like the Michael Keaton Batmans, and I mean, you're going to laugh. I actually
aren't you so excited for the Flash?
I didn't know.
Aren't you excited?
I'm not buying any more nostalgia bait from these companies. Like that's not going to work on me anymore. I saw Obi-Wan, the series.
Oh gosh,
that was complete crap. And Strange New Worlds, which is supposed to be connected to the original, Star Trek series, total disappointment. And so
completely ignores it.
Yeah, any more nostalgia bait, it's a bait and switch in my opinion.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, it's a reason to get you into theaters, and it's surprising that that's not what Spider-Man was.
Oh, Spider-Man. Yeah.
It kind of was. It kind of was.
Exception.
It kind of was. It kind of was. Yeah, that movie was nostalgia, literally. Spider-Man: No Way Home. It was literally nostalgia. But I loved it. I mean, I loved seeing all those characters that I grew up with. Green Goblin, Octopus, and Doctor Octopus. What? No, wait. What?
Dr. Octavius, Dr. Octopus. Yep.
Yeah, Dr. Octopus. I was like, wait, is his name really Dr. Octopus?
Yeah. Have you ever seen?
But they say
half the time
yeah.
Have you ever seen
one of
the
the
90s?
funniest things about
Doc Ock is Yep.
If you guys ever seen the '90s Spider-Man cartoon?
Yeah. Oh man, I grew up watching that one. I need to get back to and watch that now that it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, me too. It was so good.
So because I that was the one thing I was critical of the Sam Raimi films when they came. I was in high school when those came out. I was just like, I wanted them to be more like like the Spider-Man cartoon where you had your full rogues gallery of villains. I mean, to me, Spider-Man's like the Marvel equivalent of Batman, except
he is,
less dark, but he had a full freaking rogues gallery of awesome, unique villains. And I love the story arcs of Batman and Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, I love Spider-Man's story and everything, and he's like the anti-Batman. He's humble, lives humbly as opposed to Batman being, rich,
light and quippy while he's in a superhero form, especially, and
they are easily the best characters of both IPs.
I agree.
Yes, I agree.
All right, well, I'm actually going to ditch out of here. We're doing our long time wrap up, so I'll get out of here and call it for the night. But have a good one, you guys. Good seeing you. See you next time. I won't be here next week, but
okay,
one of these time soon.
Did you said you watched? Okay, you did your homework though.
I did. Yep.
Okay, we'll talk about it eventually then.
Okay, yeah. If I need to, I might be able to pop in. I'm probably gonna be like completely out of reception though. I'm gonna be down south near Panguitch, so like totally out of reception.
But it's good, right? Matt Johnson's movies are amazing.
The Dirties took me a little it was uncomfortable, but
that one's it's on purpose. It's supposed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, but then watching Operation Avalanche, I could tell like, okay, this is definitely the same filmmaker, and there was some really fun like references and lines to the like, no, it's gonna take 2 seconds, just put your mic on. Like that was in both of those. It was kind of fun. I was waiting to see it in Blackberry. That would have been so fun. But you could definitely tell too, he does have that very documentary style of like wanting to film from behind a glass and from really long distances and things like that. So he kept that in Blackberry. And Blackberry was very, very good, very well done.
It's hilarious.
It's very amusing and funny. It's interesting seeing his character in Blackberry. But yeah, I'm like, that's a good character, but it's also like I definitely believe it as the kind of character that it's supposed to be, and it is. And you see that character in a couple of other shows or movies or whatever that would be like this. But it's also still very much Matt Johnson, because there's still very much that, like, he's the one with the schemes and the plans, and he's always the one with the schemes and the plans. So
I just the scene at the very beginning when they're introducing the concept. There's a free Wi-Fi signal that no one has learned how to use. There's free Wi-Fi in this room. It's like the Force. Sir, have you seen Star Wars? So good.
What is it, like the Force?
Is it like the Force in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Great
in my
movies.
opinion, Blackberry is the best by far. He's like, he really managed to finally like
convince a studio to give him money.
Yeah, finally land.
Make a real film. Like, I mean, the other ones were good. Operation Avalanche. Like, I hear everybody dipping out. Like, it is a little slower, but I really enjoyed that one.
Okay,
that one was pretty good.
Nerporial, you need to watch Operation Avalanche right now. If you're a fan of 2001, you have to watch it. Okay, it's free on YouTube right now.
Operation Avalanche.
Operation Avalanche. I don't want to tell you anything about it.
Yeah,
but Stanley Kubrick is in the movie.
And played by an actor, or did they digitally recreate him like Tarkin in Rogue One?
They stole footage from National Geographic.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's this called again? Operation
Avalanche. I'm going to tell you nothing. I'm not going to give you the.
But I'm going to tell you is like, give it a shot. Because it starts a little bit slow, but give it a shot and make it to the end. The ending is wild.
Is this what I think it's about? Yeah, I just saw
an image. Don't look anything else up. Just start watching it. It's so good.
I saw an image. Is it anything to do with a conspiracy theory regarding Stanley Kubrick?
It is what you think, and also it's not.
No.
It just watch it, okay?
Did you know that in The Shining, little Danny is wearing a NASA shirt, like a sweater? I'm curious if he wore that as a way to troll the conspiracy theorists at the time. I'm curious.
It's not quite what you think it's going to be. I'm done. I'm not talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you almost need to like know his movies though too, because to know like what his kind of approach and what his kind of like.
I can give you the context. He has no money. He's a guerrilla filmmaker, where he asks for permission instead of he asks for forgiveness instead of permission. Films people without telling them what's actually going on. He lied to NASA so that he could film inside of NASA without paying them. He told them he was which he was at the time. He was in film school, but he told them that it was a senior project, and he wanted to interview employees at NASA to talk about the moon landing, because he was doing a documentary about the moon landing.
Yeah.
And that is not the context in which they are used in the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say that sometimes throws me off is how much of that like crossing what you've told us about how he makes the films with the film itself, because there's definitely aspects that parallel that.
There are on purpose. Yeah. It's brilliant. He asked them. He's like, "Hey, it would be really cool if you dressed up in like period appropriate attire." So he had a bag of clothes that he brought around with him in NASA, and when they talked to someone, they're like, "Here, can you just put this on because it'll look better?" It's genius.
Knowing that context makes the movie way better. Yeah, makes the movie way funnier, because he's like, "What?" And you see the faces of everyone. Just watch it. Bro. Just watch it.
Okay.
Check it out. All right. Okay. For real though, I'm out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
My quick thoughts, and then if we get a chance to talk about it later, great. If not, all good. But we'll figure it out.
I also had to like deep out. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
nice to
good.
meet you, Norporial. It's always great to be in here. I hope you can make it another day when we discuss more Star Trek. I really need to get into Star Trek, but it's hard. It's hard.
I'll
in
just
Mexico.
tell you. I'll tell you. If you want to start anywhere, you start with the original series from the '60s.
I'm definitely going to do that. Yo,
Take a bit to get, but yeah, push it through.
See you guys. See you guys.
Anything else to plug? We'll just end it right here.
Yeah, I would say watch my video that I released yesterday. It's really emotional and probably going to make you cry. But I need that support so it can reach that bitch from the Primos shows. Yeah.
Okay, thanks everyone. We'll see you guys next week.
Stay incorporeal.
Stay nerdy, my friends. Your outro was better than mine.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is
right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.